Don't go early. He's got. He's got a. He spat around. We're live apparently.
Peaked far too early. Story of my life.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, one and all, and welcome to another Studio Rats Q&A live. Tonight is number 248. Why do you keep coming back to this rubbish? My name's James Ivey.
I'm Paul Drew. Yeah, why do they keep coming back?
I don't know. You are all very welcome to this, to our weekly takeover of the interwebs. I'd like to thank Spring for bringing the pollen forward and grass pollen doing its thing, which is why I sound like I'm trying to order 2 tickets to Nottingham.
It's tree and grass pollen.
Oh, it's awful stuff.
Both getting the onslaught.
However, sneezes and stuff aside, tradition dictates. And, I don't make the rules. Mr. Drew, what have you been up to?
I've been
eating chocolate.
Eating chocolate. I have been doing the video for the Bogren Digital, the new BDM pack.
Like that?
It's really good. It's really good.
And do you know what I like about it?
What's that?
Unlike some guitar amp sims that give you you could change the polarity of the cable and of the batteries in the thing. It's like more, stop.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's a brilliant idea. It's a brilliant concept, that one knob thing that they do.
As opposed to us, which is clearly 2 knobs.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 twats. Yes. Yeah, so I think that's really, I think it's been really good. And I'm shooting the video for the AMS Twister 5. That's been going on yesterday and today, and I'm going to release that tomorrow. So it's been fairly busy. About yourself?
Well, you came over last week, which meant there was an absolute boatload of stuff to edit and get ready, much of which has gone live and started. Debates are plenty, which is good. I won't say lots of debates, but it's been good. Been shopping, been collecting. I had a cheer event over the weekend, which involved going somewhere near Birmingham. Where, as you can probably see from just over my shoulder, there's some new toys arrived, but we'll talk about those shortly. Then I did a car boot sale on Bank Holiday Monday. That was a laugh, if not early and slightly wet at times. But
do they have car boot sales in America? They must be called something.
They call them swap meets.
That's even more stupid than car boot sale. Well, at least we're saying what it is. It's a car boot that's open up and you sell from it. Swap meet sounds like you're just swapping meat.
Yeah, I originally thought it was swamp meat, but I was like, that makes even less sense.
Certain parts of Florida, I'm sure. That sort of stuff.
And then getting new Tonex packs and Kemper packs ready for some of this stuff. And shot a video today, which will go live tomorrow, and stuff. Yeah, busy, which is good.
Nice.
So should we talk about new things yet, or should we wait for a few more bodies?
You might as well talk about it. Do you want to post? Let's talk about stuff, and then you can post the link.
I'll post the links, because then if anybody wants to join us, they can do. Yeah. Here they go. You don't have to use the links to watch the show.
They know that by now. They know that one.
I know. But if you do want to come on, please make sure you're at least got some clothes from halfway up, sort of thing and stuff.
And don't stand up if you haven't.
Yes.
That sort of stuff. Oh, so what have we got here? It's gone. Actually, I know what we've got. I don't know why I'm acting all surprised. I paid after it.
So this is a Marshall JCM 800 lead series, but on the back is where it gets interesting, he says, because on the back, which is you can't see, but there's a reason I put it here, it says Super Lead Mark II.
So I'm really confused about this whole thing.
Yeah.
Because it's a JCM 800, yeah?
Yes. But it's a 4-input JCM 800, like the Plexi. Oh, now it's going to do that thing, isn't it? That's going to.
No,
hang on, I can stop it. There we go. Yeah, it's a 4-input JCM 800. So you can do the whole plexi thing. Now, the model is a 1987, even though it was sold as a 1985, but there isn't actually such thing as a 1985. There's a 1987, which was
the year was 1985. It's a 1985 amp.
Well, if it is, that's fine. But the model is 1987.
Yeah, that's the model.
That is basically the plexi was 1959.
Yes.
And the 800 is the 1987. So it's basically all the best bits of a plexi with a JCM 800 circuit.
Their naming convention was possibly what was second only
to Ibanez.
Yeah.
But it's a monster. It's an absolute monster amp.
So it is a JCM 800 we bought.
It's a JCM 800 super lead.
Right. Okay. That doesn't make any sense to me because. So I know we bought the 4 input because that's what we were looking for. Yeah. But I'm confused why it says. Was it on the back 59 Mark II or something?
It says 89 Mark II. Yeah.
87.
It's 87. Yes, 87 Mark II. It's because of this bit, because of the 4 input bit. Now, this is the 50 watt, and they're quite rare. Think of volume 1. It's a non-master volume amp, so the higher you turn it, the more gain you get. And like all Marshalls, they don't really sound any good until you give it some serious beans.
Right.
But you can then do the whole jumper into the second channel and wind in the kind of the darkness and the low end channel.
So like a plexi, you can plug into one side and volume 1 works, and plug in the other side, volume 2 then works, or you can jump them both together and Okay.
It's nice. It is good.
Nice. And what's the other?
The other one thing? Is the Paul Reed Smith HDRX, the Hendrix 20. Now, this arrived today, so I haven't really had much time to play with it, but it is incredibly Marshall-y.
Well, it should be incredibly Marshall-y.
Yes, it's a Hendrix amp. So basically, the way to get a good noise out of it is to dime everything. And then all of a sudden you go, oh, there it is. Sort of pussyfooting with anything below 12 o'clock. Nah, don't bother.
Really? So that what is it that unusable?
No, it's great. It's a great sounding amp. Just don't bother.
Yeah, is it that unusable below 12 o'clock?
No, it's totally fine. But that's not why you buy that amp, is it? You want that full beans Marshall raw.
Yeah, but they did a clever thing with that. They did a clever thing so you don't have to jump it.
Yes, there's a switchy thing in here somewhere, a high mid gain, and there's a bright switch. The bright switch basically turns it into more of an 800-y type sound rather than just a plexi type sound.
No, it is a plexi, but they got rid of the jumping option, so it self jumps. Yes. I think that switch self jumps it.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. I mean, it is. Right. You've got the treble bass volume, you've got the master volume, and you've got the EQ presence. It's very straightforward. I still have to get my head round using it not full beans, full tilt filth. But that's what I went for.
Yeah. Just be careful with the captures, I'd say, on that.
Oh yeah, it'll be there'll be captures of that coming. The first 2 packs of the Marshall are out, so the Kemper and the Tonix captures are out. So if you want to check those out, they are on our website, thestudiorex.net. The Headrush captures for that will be out tomorrow as well, and then I'll start on the PRS.
And then I'll do the quad stuff next week. Yeah, when I get hold of it.
Yep.
Nice.
At this point, I mean, I just words fail me, ladies and gentlemen. Vinny the Axe.
Vinster. What's Vinny? We drinking?
Tea.
That's not tea, mate. It's got
iced tea. I know you guys love this stuff, huh?
Jeez. That's the most disgusting drink I've ever tried in my life. That should have been banned. Have you ever tried iced tea, James?
Yeah, I have. It's revolting.
Actually, what's funny is when I lived up north, I grew up, I never drank iced tea. Like maybe once in a while somebody made the fake shit with the powder. but we
Yeah.
never drank. It wasn't a thing you drink. And then when I moved down here, that's like a thing. And I didn't realize that until I was up north one time, and I went through a drive-through, and I asked for iced tea, and they were like dumbfounded. They actually gave me a cup of hot tea because and I was like, oh, that's right. I forget where I'm at.
Wow. So it's that different. Wow.
Yeah. So when in Rome, I don't know. The Hendrix amp, I'm glad you brought that up because I was looking at that amp probably 6 months ago, maybe, I don't know, whenever I bought the Laney. And James is right that every review that I watched, you really had to crank it to get it to sound like it's intended as a jumped, Marshall cranked out. And I quickly realized that wasn't going to be like a bedroom amp or an amp that's really quiet to play. So I discarded it out of what I needed it for. You know what I mean? So
don't get me wrong, it sounds great.
It sounds killer though. Yeah.
I'm running it through the aux, so I can drive the living out of it and turn the speakers down and go, this sounds great. You don't buy a Marshall necessarily for its clean tone, do you?
Right.
You don't buy the Hendrix Marshall for its clean tone.
I don't know. I think Wind Cries Mary is a classic. It's a classic cleanish tone.
Clean on the verge of breakup. Take a drink.
Tone. But that's probably, I'm guessing that's like some sort of fuzz with the volume on the Strat rolled down.
Yeah.
To get that sort of thing.
It'll do it. It does clean, but that's not why you buy a Hendrix amp, is it? You buy it for the full filth, screaming, barely on the edge of control, which that does really well for a 20-watt amp. 20 watt through a 412 sounds awesome.
What I find is there's not too many amps that sound good, both clean and dirty. Especially 2-channel amps. There's always one that rivals the other. For the most part, I don't know how you guys are, but I typically will pick one or the other and always use that amp that way not like I'm promoting this or anything because I have no skin in the game really with the Laney, but this UK built Laney head, the clean channel sounds great and the overdrive channel sounds fantastic on it. Awesome. It's one of the few amps that I've ever bought that both channels sound really good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The only amp clean dirty channel wise, the hook for me is the ultimate.
It's really good.
Does everything. Clean, dirty, filth. Really versatile. Right. Should we do some?
It's funny though. So just to finish, in the studio, it's different. I don't have the what's the opposite of luxury? I don't have the hindrance of having to think, oh God, I can only use one amp. Because if I want to use a Fender Twin for the cleans, I can. If I want to use either of those for the dirties, I can. It's not like something I have to consider. Yes, I agree. That hook is amazing. And I think of all those amps, of all the amps that I've got that probably do that, the really good dirty, really good clean, at the moment, it's probably the high watt that does the best of both worlds.
That's interesting. Obviously, I wouldn't ever say the high watt is a great dirty tone
because this one's got that extra.
Yeah, it's a funny dirty tone. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. But for me, it's not. It's just such a smack you in the face sort of. There's nothing smooth about it.
No. Hello.
Yeah.
What you find?
Yeah. Come on, then let's do some questions.
Let's get into it. Here we go. Boom. Come on.
Al, hello mate. He says, "Evening, gents and TSR community. I hope everyone is well, and you, mate." Philip from 40 Watt Podcast says, "Good afternoon, y'all. Don't worry, I'll be around to derail in the second half of the broadcast." Good man.
Wouldn't expect anything less.
Gary, good evening, evening, Gary. Oh, Gary's been spending some money.
Nice.
Gary's ordered his James Tyler Studio Elite last Thursday. Congratulations, mate. Do you know what? Mine's been away from me for a couple of weeks, and it's still going to be. What's the date? It's still going to be a couple of weeks before I get mine back, and I'm really missing it.
What's that on the wall, Paul? But over your right shoulder.
That's the J Rocket.
Right. Okay.
Funny about that. They haven't responded to my request. Yeah, they haven't responded to my request for the to send an invoice, and they haven't picked it up. So I don't know what's going on with that. So it's a very expensive guitar to be
Yeah.
yeah, they don't want back, but they're going to want it back at some point.
Yes.
Mike the Bike. Good evening, lads. Evening, Mike the Bike. Rants and chats. I think he means oops.
I think it's rats. Yeah.
There's rants too, I guess.
Yeah. Plenty of that going on.
Evening, all Chris. Evening, Chris.
Some bloke called Vinny says hello.
Oh, okay, all good. Graham says evening. Evening, Graham. Right. Phil says, will a swap meet? You mean people swap things with? Will a swap
with?
meet?
I think he meant to say with a swap meet.
You meet people and swap things with them. That is the most ridiculous thing. But that so what? You turn up with like a trunk, as you guys call it, full of crap, and then someone comes around and goes, "Oh, you see that old walking stick there? I'll swap that for my record player."
Yeah.
Is that what happens?
Sure.
It's weird. Weird.
It's a bit weird.
Weird.
Bit weird.
I think it's still funny that you guys call your trunk your boot.
Yeah. And the front's called the bonnet. Would you call it?
Yeah.
The bonnet I can understand.
Yeah.
The boot is a little weird.
They have a hood, don't they?
I wonder where that really came from.
I don't know. Yeah, it's true.
Because the word trunk has been around for a while, because centuries, right? Because it's a trunk and you would put stuff in it, so that would make sense.
That does.
And elephants had them first.
This is true. Woolly mammoth, actually.
Yeah, good point. Well made.
This is going off the rails big time.
Yeah.
Phil, I'm taking care of it.
You didn't say, hold on, the Lamb. Good evening, the Lamb. Justin, also, Audio Assault's amp locker and mic locker are actually really good plugins. Awesome. As I said in the video, I'm not much of a plugin sort of fan. And I don't tend to use a lot of plugins. There's so many plugins out there.
Gazillions of them.
Yeah.
Some good, not some.
There's some shockers. There's some absolute shockers. Judge Shred, evening rats and all from a sunny Chicago afternoon. Nice. Justin, worth a try? What's that? Worth a try? Yes, possibly. Yes. Yeah, defo.
Yes.
Alexander, if you guys do you guys still enjoy the Kemper?
Yes, it is good.
It is good, isn't it? It's a good thing.
The thing that Kemper does, certainly when capturing, is it's quite hard to get the captures to sound good on the way in, but it has this refined thing that makes them sound better.
Yeah.
I don't entirely know. I'd love to know what refining your capture or refining your profile does, but it definitely does something very clever.
Zafy, hello mate. He says, good evening, Paul James. Chaps, the mic's amp video was great. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, those videos we weren't expecting that video to do very well at all. And
it's done all right.
Yeah. That's it, it's done all right.
Yeah.
I need to check.
Getting on for a couple of thousand, so it's done all right.
Yeah. Okay. How many is it done? Michael MC, talking guitars over watching UFA. Oh, nice. Oh, is there a match? My son will be watching that then.
Guessing.
Nice. He's an Arsenal fan. Mendel rocks. Evening and hail. Evening, Mendel. Leon says, even chaps. Nice Marshall. I remember those amps. Just
hang on. It hasn't come through yet.
Come through, is he?
Now, hang on a second. Hang on. Because there's a girl in the room.
Jeez, he's so wrong. Hi, Amanda. I hope you're well, and thanks for joining us.
Watch your language, boys. Watch your language.
Jeez. Blue Note. Evening. Oh. Adam, hello, mate. He says, Vinny, up north. It's Tetley. Down south, it's PG. No other T's count. It's true. True. Matt, greetings, gents. I finally received my Bearcat Era 30. Oh,
nice.
Nice. Very nice.
It's an amazing amp. Yes, it is an amazing amp. Sounds great with the stock JJ tubes, but even better with some good old Euro tubes, Mullard, Amprex, etc. I always think tube. I mean, every time I change tubes, I just think, why did I even bother doing that?
The only time the tube change is really worth it is if you're gonna put something in that maybe the amp's running too hot, and you put in like something with the low microphonics and it's like noisy. You know what I mean? I've done that before. I've had some noisy set of tubes in an amplifier, and then I've changed it to all low microphonic stuff. Like I would specifically buy like Electro Harmonix made in Russia, like low microphonics, and it does change how the amp responds a little bit. But I think people think it's going to change the overall how the amp completely sounds, and that's not exactly true. You know,
I mean, the only time I've ever changed valves in an amp is when the amp has been playing up.
right?
Either a tube has gone microphonic. So if you tap the case of the amp and you get that ping, that bell sound, that generally means one of the tubes has gone microphonic.
Well, preamp tube. Yeah.
The best thing to do for an amp, if you really want to really mess with it, is change this. Well, change your speaker cabinet, change a speaker in the combo. That's really where you should start.
The biggest changes.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
But I've had power amp tubes where I've had to change them. But other than that, yeah, very, very rarely do I actually have to get involved with and mess with those things. This thing, I know it's 50 watts, and as we've proven in videos before, generally, if you take these Marshalls and you crank the living out of them, the background, it's not the volume that changes, it's the background noise, all the hiss and all the crackle and that sort of stuff. This thing is so quiet.
Wow.
It's so quiet.
I wonder if it's something to do with the transformers in it.
Even at full tilt, it's absolutely whisper quiet.
I mean, there's other things you could do with the preamp tubes too. Sometimes you could change the preamp tubes to a lesser aggressive valued preamp tube, and that'll bring your gain down. It also kind of lowers the volume floor sometimes too. There's all these like little tricks you can do by changing tubes to get a certain outcome, but you have to like really do some research and study before you start messing with it. That's what I did with that thing with the with my not a Blues Junior. There's nothing. The circuit board's still there, but there's so many things done to it that it sounds pretty damn good now. It's not even the original casing.
Oh wow,
that's a completely different housing. That's in a wide panel, so it's wider than a standard Blues
nice.
Junior. Yeah,
nice.
Cool. Oh, anyway,
Nick Debt. Hey guys, hey Nick Debt. Hope you're well. Jim, Paul is like a human battery and drinks acid water. That is why he does not drink iced tea. Drinks acid water. No, acid water. Sorry, tea. Iced tea is just.
Brits don't like iced tea. It's just a thing.
So bitter. Yeah,
wrong.
Tea. Listen, we
tea
know
should be hot with milk.
Yeah, it should be hot, exactly, or hot without milk. I don't mind it without milk, but cold tea. What are you doing?
Ugh, yeah.
Well, it's also 175 degrees here, so
that's true. So, but drink some water. Pet, evening Pet. Oh, Pet hasn't been around for a while.
Yeah, it's been for a while.
Nelson, considering a Strymon L cap to replace a TC Bucket Brigade delay pedal, what say the rats? Any alternatives to consider?
The L cap's great.
Yeah, the L cap stand is a great pedal. I don't think you can't do better than Strymon when it comes to those sort of effects.
The cheaper avenue to go, have one of them is the if you want to go cheaper without all the features, is the Brig. I have the Strymon Brig, which is the standalone one pedal.
Oh yeah.
And that's got your typical Bucket Brigade delay, and it's Strymon, so it's got that signature sound.
I've used an L cap on the desk, plumbed into for a studio effect, not just for guitar effects. They sound that good.
They are good. Blue Note, Noel Edmonds, Saturday morning swap shop. yeah, that's a British thing. It's a British thing.
It was actually called Noel Edmonds Multicolour Swap Shop, I'll have you know.
Oh,
color.
Stuart Young, all right, lads, remember Paul being impressed with the TWS 2864. Does it do both clean and filthy well? No, it doesn't. It doesn't do filthy. I mean, if you're talking about, it does like a great sort of drive.
Do you mean this?
Yeah, James has nicked it off me.
Do you mean this one?
That one there it is.
Love it. I love this thing.
Yeah, it's a great sounding amp. No, it does. I mean, it depends. If you think like an AC30 does clean and filth, AC30 doesn't really do filth.
I think I screwed up on the last advice too. The El Capistan is a tape delay, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's don't even listen to me then because the Brig is an analog bucket brigade style
Bucket brigade,
delay.
yeah.
So I screwed. I just was thinking of that.
Sorry. Greg from Adventures in Gearland. He says, still digging the brothers AM port. By the way, please hit the Joe knob. Yes, yeah, give us a like, everyone. What Joe like? I don't know. Joe like. Anyway, give us a like if you're enjoying it. It really helps. The brothers. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about it, to be honest. It's what it does is it cuts out a lot of the bottom end. Too much of the bottom end for me.
Oh, that's not good.
Well, yeah, it does the Tube Screamer thing. It's exactly what Tube Screamer does,
Right.
or even a Klon. So it does that. So it removes some of the bottom end. This does a bit too much for me. So 450 quid, whatever it cost.
Give it 6 months; it'll be double that.
No, because they'll be releasing the next batch.
All right, give it 3 months then.
Yeah, yeah, not a bad idea. Yeah, no, I don't think it's going to be a keeper. Amanda's laughing. Awesome. Mr. Marples. Hi guys, I'm still awake. Hey. So Dave phoned me up today to tell me that on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock he falls asleep, and miraculously he wakes up at 10 o'clock.
I've got nothing. Good work, David.
Well done, Dave. Mika Yazzie says, hello, any views on the Tone King Imperial preamp pedal versus my Amp 1 Mercury for clean? Yeah, we could possibly do that. There's something else coming out from Tone King as well, so looks like I'll be doing that very soon.
Nice.
As well. Matt McCracken, changing tubes make a big difference. The EF86 tube. Oh yeah, well, an EF86 is different to a 1287. But I'm a cork sniffer. Yeah, but that's a much higher output tube. So that will make a massive difference. Can
you just make sure you say his last sentence accurately, please?
I'm a cork sniffer. Yeah, very good. Jim, how do you guys think the PV Valve King 100-watt head sounds? I don't know that one. James?
That came out a while ago, didn't it? That was
it's another one.
A long time ago.
Mississippi Marshall stuff.
Yeah, I don't think I had one of those PV. I think it was the 20-watt classic something. Really, for a cheap valve head, it sounded absolutely great. The PV stuff, you kind of get what you pay for. You know, I mean, the exception being the 5150 or the now 6505, which we know are exceptional in most cases. I couldn't say I've heard good or bad things about the Valve King 100. Either or. I don't think I've played one.
No. Philip will know when he comes on.
Yeah.
Nelson P. I swapped out the 7080 in my DS. Yeah, for a greenback. Huge improvement. Nice.
Yeah,
yes. Highly endorsed.
Nectar. Hello, gents. Did you hear the Guacamatura gate? Apparently, the guy faked. Yes, this has been going on for a couple of months. Well, it feels like at least a couple of months, but it's probably only a month now. Do you know what? Do you know what really starting to piss me off is that every YouTuber feels like they're jumping on the bandwagon because it's getting views. It's just
so the big dog has now cast his judgment.
Right.
Ricky B has jumped in.
Right.
And I think actually he basically cast almost the casting vote and said, look, when Giacomo happened to be in Atlanta, Rick invited him into the studio, realized fairly quickly that he wasn't a good enough musician for him to be on the channel, and went, I'm not putting the video out. There you go.
I just when he said that, I just want you to know that I went in my other room and secretly cried for like 3 hours because that even though that guy's a fraud, he plays way better than I do. So there's no chance of me ever being on Rick's show ever. I was actually going to burn all my shit down, but I didn't. I decided
have faith. You're better than
It,
me.
it,
Better
it
than
does,
me.
it does get on to a very interesting thing because several people have jumped in on this, and I won't dwell on it too much. But
Can we not?
it starts the argument: when is it production and when is it fixing it?
Do you know what? I don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
I'm so bored with the whole guacamole, whatever.
What I think I should do is I should have you guys talk about it. You guys do a video, and then I'll do a reaction video of your guys' video, so I get views. Because that's what everybody's doing.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, come on, we've talked. Just give the guy. The guy's made a mistake. He's made a big mistake, and everyone. It just seems everyone wants to jump on it just because it can get some views. It's just like, come on, guys.
Isn't that the same with every big thing? It just gets jumped on by the masses.
Because
Glenn's jumped on it now. Glenn.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
The big dog has. I think it's done. I think he knows he was a bad boy and he needs to move on.
Miki Yazzie, hello. Any opinions on the
Yeah.
Done this.
Yes.
Changed the power tubes to my Fender Super Reverb from a new production 606. It's a big difference. Nice. All right, Mike.
Okay.
Nice. Joe, hello, mate. He says, hi, guys. Speaking of the great 2-channel amps, I just put my Bogner Shiva 20th anniversary back in the rack. Definitely one of my favorites. Yeah, I need to get a Shiva.
Yes.
I fancy a Shiva. And they're always quite reasonable as well.
Yeah.
Next debt. I did not know the guys. I'm not very active on Instagram, but the levels of social media scams, any money made is ridiculous. Yeah. It's just like everyone's talking about it.
But it made me think, hang on, have I ever done that? Have I ever mimed guitar to something? I go, no, because I can never remember what I played from one take to the next.
It's a talent. It's a talent. Girls got talent.
It's like I was videoing some drums today, and I thought, no, I couldn't mime this because I never know what I'm playing next.
Yeah. Gustav Delatour. Hello, guys, here from Algeria. Oh, welcome, mate. Drew Schoenbeck. Hey, guys, you got an issue with my Ultra Strat with noiseless pickups? No sustain. I've adjusted the pickups, but still have sustain issue. Thinking of putting in some Lola pickups. Your thoughts?
I just did a video with my Nash, a second video with the Lollers in it. I'm a big fan of them. I think to my ears, they're EQ'd really well. And I've never wanted to change them out of any guitar that I got with Lawler. So they get my vote. And you're on the right track, I think. I think there's not much you're going to be able to do with the noiseless. Some people love them. Some people hate them. If you're not happy with them, take the whole damn thing out and replace the whole entire kit and caboodle. And I think you'll be plenty happy.
But is that going to affect the noiseless?
No sustain suggests.
Yeah, no sustain. I mean, it depends
or not.
Yeah, it depends if that the comment no sustain is an exaggeration, as in
right, because some people's idea of what sustain is completely different than what other people's are sustain. You know, like, is the guitar not resonant? Then if that's the case, then look, might be that you have a crappy block. The other thing is it might be the guitar might be what I call dead wood, which means it's got like 800 mil thick of you like that mil thick? I use that for you guys. Mil thick of poly on it, and it's like a cinder block coated in plastic.
That's an Ultra Strat. Well, that's an Ultra Strat. So it's got lots of poly on it. I mean, there's loads of things. The nut could be not cut properly.
Could be the saddles.
Yeah, it could be the saddles. It could be. I don't think the Ultras have string trees, so it could be like a string tree, not the break angle. There's loads of.
The first thing I would say is the nut, just because it's the cheapest thing to fix.
Yeah.
I'd take it. But there's ways of checking. You can check the nut. I mean, if it's a break angle, you can push behind the nut. There's loads of things. Maybe we should do a video on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Loads of these companies now, and I think Fender are doing it with the Ultras. I could be wrong, but I think the Ultras haven't got string trees. And I think people should just embrace string trees. Yes, they're ugly, but they serve a purpose and they fix so many issues.
Right, because the only way to fix that from Fender, they're not going to do it, is to create a break angle in the headstock, and they're not going to do that. So they're using compensated tuning keys to kind of mimic that, but sometimes that how do I do this? That break angle over the nut is not correct, and then that's the universal term for that. Anyway, it's not correct, and it causes tuning issues a lot.
And sustain issues as well. I've had, you know, you get, you can get all sorts.
So I guess we just need a definition from him. Like, is it sustain, like the note's not ringing out, or is it like there's no upper chime and there's no resonance? Does
it sound
Yeah.
choked? Because if
Yeah.
it's choked, it's definitely mechanical as opposed to electromechanical. I would guess.
Yep. Jim Nelson P. I also have the 78 speaking. My Marshall. Do you think the greenback or creamback would sound better? Yeah, the greenbacks for me all day long.
The funny thing is, I did this car boot sale on Monday, and I took 2 Celestian G12T75s, the GT75s that I loathe, because I think I sold my Tuber 12 JCM 900 with vintage 30s in. But the box, it was the vintage 30s box. So anyone who came past looking at the sort of knackered old guitar pedals and bits and pieces I had, instantly looked at these boxes. Went, how much for your vintage 30s, mate? I said, I'm really sorry, it's not vintage 30s. I must have had 20 people ask, how much do you want for your vintage 30s? Like, you can have them if you like, but they're not, unfortunately.
Oh, wow. But yes, go for the green. I like greenbacks.
Greenbacks. Yeah.
Really? Green or cream?
Greenbacks for like a small combo or 412 cabinet, for an amplifier head that's got a lot of power. If you only have a 212, it's not. I don't think it's enough power handling. So I would say then go greenbacks, or you could actually do a mix. I would say a greenback and a creamback in the same 212 cabinet. So it depends on the head. Depends on what you're going for.
Nice.
There's a greenback actually in, like I said, in the Not a Blues Junior, and it sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, I love greenbacks. Gustav, did you miss one, James?
Yes.
Gustav, I play guitar on the streets of Algeria to raise money for homeless people. Oh, good man.
Wow.
Cool.
I show the homeless kids your videos and they cracked up about the whole Mr. Beast fan saga. Oh, bless them, those little homeless kids. That is well done, mate. You're doing an amazing thing. Gustav also says, by the way, I've been seeing Mr. Beast fans' comments disappearing. Did you delete them or was it a glitch? I don't know. We didn't delete them.
I think we banned him for that episode. We haven't banned him full stop.
Right, yeah. Steve, hello, mate. He says,
hello.
Belated hello to the rats and the axe. There. Hello, mate. I hope you're doing great. And Amanda says, hey, at Steve Cassidy Guitar. Nelson P. Jim Simmons, creamback, 100%. The greenback's in 25 watts.
Yep.
There we go. Vincent from Miami. Bro, I'm only 22. This is lame, bro. Well, you don't have to watch it, mate. Just go and watch something else. It's all good.
I'm lost about the only 22 bit, but hey.
I know. I'm only here for Amanda Coombs. Oh, come on.
Here we go.
And she says, good to see you. There we go.
Yeah. Yes.
Good evening. See,
yes.
Gustav, a whole 2 weeks with that Mr. Beast fan. Good for the stream, but bad for the homeless kids since they think it's funny. Oh, we need to get him back then. We need to get him back.
That's funny. Good God.
Jim, Nelson P, thanks. I mentioned B30. You still think the creamback would sound better?
Vintage 30s are probably the most popular speaker on planet Earth.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. The V30s, I like the creamback better.
Do you know the ones I like? I really like the Mojo tones, the blue UK.
Yeah.
I think they're called UK something. They are brilliant, and they're like cream. They're a greenback. They're like a greenback. They're blue, but they're the voicing of a greenback.
No, interesting. I wonder if they stopped making the Mojo Tone Watchtower, because that's what I have in mind. I have the Mojo Tone Watchtower UK built greenback. Yeah, and it's got the same colors and everything. The basket's the same. It's and it says made in the Celestian UK. So, but I wonder if they stopped branding that and now it's the blue colored one, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. And then, for the younger people watching, James, see if you can throw an explosion every couple of minutes to keep people's attention. Maybe it'd be more fun.
I don't think this platform is designed for that. I can't go kind of like, do that and get heart-shaped emojis flying everywhere and
Can we not do that? Oh, that's a shame.
No. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what I do have, though, lined up right now is, I mean, quite frankly, it's going to set the world on fire. Mr. Beast fan has nothing on this guy. Ladies and gentlemen, 40-watt Phil.
You really can't talk about a Lebanese guy setting the world on fire. That's all I'm saying. You really can't go there.
Well, good job.
So 25-watt greenbacks. That's the answer every single time.
There we go.
Every
See,
single time.
It's the voice of reason. He comes on.
Does it matter what the question is?
No. Well, unless the question is, what speaker am I using with a Vox style amp?
Alnico.
Celestian Blue.
Celestian Blue. Come on. Oh, or if it's a high wattage one, Celestian Gold.
Yeah.
There we go.
I decided to join with. I joined Vinny on his tea, except my tea is
Oh, you got-
75% corn, 13% barley.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
that looks nice. What time of day is it over there, boys?
It is a good old fashioned 240.
Good
That's
word.
time to start. That's
340
time
for
to
me.
start. Huh?
340 for me.
That's a see. Both a good time to get on it.
Yeah.
I can have
Afternoon
one.
drinkers. Welcome to the life of Muso.
Well, I've got evening work to do, so I'm in a break in the middle of my day, basically. So
Nice.
Good stuff.
Come on then. Next
We're going to
question.
crack on. And
There was a bare knuckle question.
oh, by the way, the PV Valve King is a piece of trash.
There we go.
I don't know who I'm going to piss off, but the Valve King was a crap amplifier.
Have you got no loyalty to your Mississippi?
I do. I adore PV amplifiers. That's not a good one. Classic 20, that's a
That's
great
what I had.
amplifier.
That's what I had.
You
Great.
said the words, you just put them in the wrong
The
order.
classic 20 was the one with the tweed covering on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
all
Yeah.
the entire classic series was available in tweed or black tweed, and all of them are good.
Yeah.
And they're all super affordable.
Yeah, I had one, and it was a great little amp.
Awesome. Lean Broomster. Hey guys, I have the bare knuckle, the mule, and the neck in my Les Paul. I have the bare knuckle mule in the neck in my Les Paul, and a Sir Doug Aldridge in the bridge. I'm looking for a new bridge pickup that I need to match with the bare knuckle. What do you recommend? Well, you could get a mule. You could get a bridge mule if you want to match it. I think that's if you like the sound of the mule.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to go, like I said, exactly what you're saying is stick with, it doesn't have to be a super high power bridge pickup, man. This way they match better. That Doug Aldrich one is pretty hot from what I understand. I've never played it, but I know it's a hot pickup, and that's probably why you're not too thrilled because of the mismatch. But yeah, I would just get another bare knuckle, get the mule. There's a couple of other ones that are in that. If you go on their website, that shows you like in that realm of that mid output or PAF output or whatever it is, and find something close to the mule or the mule bridge, and I think you'd be happy.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd say that. So I mean, I think everyone here agrees that it should be low output.
Yep.
Everyone. Yeah, low output pickups.
Absolutely. But that's my game too, though. So I think more than that, before you go replacing pickups, play around with pickup height. And I have a buddy of mine who's been playing for 20 plus years, and he just discovered, I should probably tinker with the pole pieces themselves for balance around the radius of the guitar. Yes, you should. If you have adjustable pole pieces like in most humbuckers.
Yeah.
So at this point, I should say, unfortunately, we're not allowed, or we don't have the ability to bring in subtitles. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Steve Cassidy.
Yeah.
What's up, Steve? But if we don't have subtitles, we get
Welcome.
to decide what he says, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Man, I'm loving the look. This is.
Thank you, mate. I've just been filming.
Have you?
Hi.
So, no, I like that. I quite like that. I think that suits you. You sort of gone sort of 80s sort of modern 80s.
90s raver, isn't it?
Yeah, he looks like he's supposed to work at the Max on Saved by the Bell.
That's Did you guys have a CNA back in the day, or was that just the Scotland thing?
No, we had CNA.
It's CNA.
Yeah. CNA, mate.
That's what it is. It's 80s, yeah.
You know how some underwear has left and right in, so you know where to put your which leg to put in.
Wait, do they really? That's not an American thing. Just to let you know. If that's a UK thing, that's not an American thing.
Just think what CNA might stand for on
Oh my gosh.
Deal.
You fell right into that trap, Phil.
You
Yeah.
did. You totally
Dang
did.
it. Dang
He
it.
usually gets me once every episode, but I was a little cautious on that one.
Yeah. And actually fairly funny for him.
Stuff like that.
You all right, mate? So how's it going, Steve? All good?
Yeah, all good. I've got a wee update on my string story.
Oh, this is good.
Oh,
I love this.
So if you remember, I ordered the 5 strings and they came in 5 individual packages. Well, it turns out one of them wasn't actually one of the strings. It was something else. It was a fancy pencil that I'd bought. So one of the strings is actually lost in transit.
Oh no.
That's been this week's adventure. You know, I've been on Amazon support for 2 days solid. Where's my string?
I meant to ask this last week when we talked about this. Maybe I'm the only one who does it. I never change just one string.
so do I.
No, I don't change one string either. I don't know why, but I didn't want to break a set, and I went into all my So, right, here's the thing: if I put strings on a guitar, sometimes I change strings on a guitar that it's not finished. Like I've still got mods to do on it. I'm maybe going to change the pickups or something soon, so I don't want to put a good set of strings on it. So I'll just find the set. Like
Gotcha.
I got a guitar that came with 10s on it, and I used 9s. So I want to set it up. So I'm looking for just like a random set. And in all my spares, I've got spares of everything except for D strings. So I've got like 20 E's, 20 A's, 20 G's, like no D's. And I would have to break a set. So that's the story. Right. So carry on.
It's
a great story. I'm swimming in strings right now. So last year, Guitar Center had a D'Addario, their standard 10s, the XL 10s, which is one of the gauges I use, right? And they had a special in-store only. If you bought the 10-pack, you got them for like $12. $12 for the entire 10-pack. So
Wow.
10 sets of strings.
For
So-
$12.
So I bought 40 sets of strings.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm set on 10s at least.
A buddy of mine several years ago, when I came out to NAMM, he said, similar thing. Guitar Center are doing a bulk lot on strings. I can't send them to you, but I'll buy them now. You can take them home with you. And it was like this they did it in the 3-pack boxes. And I went home with like 30 sets for not much dough, which is
That's
great.
the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Buy in bulk.
Yeah, I've seen some people get those bulk sets of D'Addario strings. They're in like a box, like almost about this size.
Yeah, Paul used to get those. Yeah.
A hole at the side with all the ball ends. Have you seen them?
Yeah.
That's normally before I started using string joy, that's what I used to buy.
My concern would be them going oxidized after a while if you don't use them enough.
Hmm.
Yeah. They're really
They
good
do.
for techs and for people building guitars and stuff like that, where they can just grab a bunch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
One of the
I've been
coolest
into the string
things-
joy too. I like them a lot, actually.
Yeah. One of the
Go ahead,
coolest
Nick.
things we saw at Toman was in their guitar setup area was a flight case the size of me, and they lifted the lid up, and it was every type and gauge of string, because obviously full
That's
length just
great.
hanging down.
Thousands,
That's
thousands
awesome.
of strings.
Yeah.
Just all loose. They just pull them all out for because every time they get a Harley Benton guitar in, they basically take the strings off. It's such a bizarre thing. You think that the factory that's making these Harley Bentons in Indonesia, you think that they just send them the
String-
D'Addario
yeah,
you know,
or- yeah.
multis,
Right.
and they but they put these crap strings on it. They send them over, then Toman change the strings.
They probably got some kind of deal with D'Addario that it is actually more financially viable for them to put whatever crap strings are on at the factory, ship them over. Also, it means they're not going to arrive and be put on the wall with crap strings. Anyway, I'm looking at you, Guitar Center. So that's a good move. That's a pro move to make sure that the guitars are fresh. It means every guitar has been restrung and maybe tweaked a little.
Yeah, and they have. Yes,
When they
every guitar that leaves the building has been restrung and tweaked.
Done.
Wow.
That's just good. That's just good business.
I will follow up a good business story, if I may, just briefly. We all know how much Paul and I have had some fantastic relationships with guitar companies that have, or music stores that have since gone the way of the pear.
Oh yeah,
The pear.
Pear shaped.
It's an
Upside
English
down.
term for.
Yeah, like the dodo.
Gone under. Yeah, because the way of
That's
the
what we say,
dodo.
the way of the
I
dodo.
don't know why pear-shaped. I don't know why that term even. I
Okay,
don't even know what it means,
that one
but-
came to America. It's just a little more obscured.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, we ordered this amp from a store that does secondhand stuff, Fair Deal Music in Birmingham. And I probably told a bit of this story last week where the manager phoned me and said he really wasn't happy shipping it, but he would get it to my hotel where I was staying near Birmingham. It arrived in the condition it's in. It's not in what I would refer to as factory mint condition, but it is a 40-year-old amp, so kind of let it off on a technicality, but it sounds great. And excuse me, it arrived perfectly. They phoned me to say it had been arrived. The hotel then phoned me to say, you've had rather a large package dropped off. Are you going to be here soon? Absolutely brilliant. So thank you, Fair Deal Music, for being brilliant and sticking to your side of the bargain and all that sort of stuff. So well done. There you go.
Okay. Gustav, Eileen.
Absolutely not.
I
I say as I'm going to interrupt. I'm so sorry. This is what I'm here for. So we drive through Alabama fairly regularly because the nearest major city to us is Birmingham, Alabama, and on the way over there we have to pass by Lurleen State Park, and I make that exact same joke with Lurleen to my wife every single time, to the point that one time I decided not to do it. She asked me what was wrong.
So every time I walk out of the house with my wife, I say, I've got the key. And she says, I've got the secret.
Oh, nice. Okay. I'm done interrupting.
So mate, interrupt away. Gustav, my friend is making a Hold on. Did you haven't, James, you keep missing stuff. There we go. Funky Bass. Hello, everyone. Great to join you guys. I recently tried a made in China. Orange OR15. Sounded surprisingly great. Oh, brilliant.
Great.
Good amps.
Awesome. Yeah. Nice
we need to get an orange or two, but
yeah.
The orange I want is the matte amp, which was the orange, because that's the one that everyone goes, oh, that's the really good one.
Yeah, the good ones according to some people.
Yes.
Matte amps, they're still going matte amp, aren't they? But they're like boutique, super expensive now.
Yeah.
Gustav, my friend is making a documentary about Q&As, and he wants to get you guys on to talk about Mr. Beast fan. If you're not available, he can still mention Mr. Beast fan or use the footage. Absolutely, yeah. If it helps Gustav, and if it helps a little homeless kids, even better.
Yes.
Funky Bass. I'm also not good enough to ever be on Rick Beato's channel, like most people. Jim Simmons. I could always set my DSL 40 to the 20 watt setting for low watt speakers. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah,
could do.
Yeah,
definitely could.
Hey, if you've got, here's a question for you. If you've got a 40 watt amp, and you don't crank it up, and you put a 20 watt speaker in there,
zero problems.
Yeah.
Zero problems. The problem only comes in when you start actually pushing the wattage. The wattage that you see on the back of an amplifier, 100-watt amplifier. We all saw this in the Henning video. He talked about this. You're not actually putting out that wattage. That's the some people, that's the wattage before it starts to break up. Some companies, that's maximum wattage.
Peak.
You don't know. Everyone does it differently. And so if you're playing your, 100-watt Marshall amp, and you really, really, for some reason, love the clean tone, which I think they do a great clean tone, but even the clean tone, you've got to be turned up pretty good before it gets good.
Yeah.
Because you got to go real high to get it to crank. if you've only got running it on 3, you're not putting out 100 watts. You can run that thing through a 60-watt speaker and not have a problem.
Yeah.
So unless you're running your DSL 40 on like 10, you're good.
Yeah, I ran my amp 1 at like 2 or 3 with the greenback in a Mojo Tone extension cabinet, knowing it was only 25 watts. So I was very careful about me jamming on it and not cranking it. So, but after I wound up obviously buying a 212 cabinet that could handle the power rating in case I play somewhere with it ever. Yeah. So,
Nick, that yes, agree. It's hypocritical. People were jamming and hyping with him. Now everybody is kicking the guy. Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
Yeah, but was anybody actually jamming with him?
Well, people were miming with him.
Yeah, that's. I'm gonna stop because I know it's the soup du jour to pick on him. Yeah, he's been through enough. He made some very, very bad mistakes, but honestly, he's been through enough at this point.
Yeah, the guys are tall. He did some stupid things.
Yep,
that's it.
Young and stupid.
I just want to say, it's not a guaranteed recipe for success to put him in your thumbnail. I think I may be the only guy that did it and video tanked, but I didn't do a video about him. I did a video about in light of the situation, saying that it's okay to steal licks because we all steal licks.
Oh yeah.
And then I went on and did some examples of sort of 4 licks of stealing.
My first ever guitar teacher, who didn't know he was my first ever guitar teacher until I met him at NAMM, was Wolf Marshall. Right? I met him at NAMM and I said, you were my first ever guitar teacher, and I think the tape finishes with some fantastic words of wisdom, and it's: to steal from one source is plagiarism. To steal from many is research.
As an academic, agreed.
I'll do.
Okay.
I probably should stop selling those Studio Rats capture packs. Hold on.
You mean the VTA?
Very good.
And just so you know, the guys behind it are Paul and James.
It wasn't quite enough, Vinny. It wasn't quite enough.
Yeah.
Mark's gas station. Howdy, guys. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy Wednesday, Mark. Blue Note. When does playing lick become plagiarism? Thoughts? There we go. We just sort of
when you charge for it.
No, that's not it. Because there's actual, at least in the U.S., copyright law has statements on this.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. I mean, you can just look at Queen versus Vanilla Ice.
Yep.
No, that's not a lick.
That's a sample. That's a
repetitive thing that's like the main theme of the song.
Yeah, but
a lick is a one-off little taste.
Legally, there's only 2 things that can be copywritten.
The tune, the melody, and the lyrics.
Melody and lyrics. Melody and lyrics. That's it. If you play enough, this is where it gets a little obscure-ish, and you need a court of law and attorneys, or I can't remember the UK term for lawyers. Solicitors. That's right. That's a more accurate term.
Exactly.
So the trick is there's a whole language around if it basically encapsulates that essence of that thing. I can't remember the right legal language. Somebody can look this up and figure it out. But it's like if that is so identifiable as this thing, it is copyrightable and can be that can be stolen and become plagiarism. But like there's 4 million blues songs. I don't have an original lick in my arsenal.
Yeah.
I've stolen every single one I play. I think it comes around to a lot of different factors. Intent. You look at someone like there was a Miranda Lambert scandal a while back, quote unquote, where someone pointed out one of the songs on one of her albums. This was long enough ago. It could have been her debut album. I don't know. I don't remember. Someone pointed out to her in an interview. Oh, well, she had a song that sounded just like a Steve Earle song. And it was pointed out to her and she was like, no, that's not. And then she stopped and thought about it and was like, shit. And was like, oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And she was like, 100%. She said, I love Steve Earle. You're absolutely right. And like immediately after the interview, contacted her publishing company, said Steve Earle needs to be credited as songwriter on this song. Contacted Steve's people. He got half writer credit for it.
That's the way to do it properly.
That's the way you handle it.
Yeah. I mean, Ed Sheeran, arguably one of the greatest songwriters of the current time.
He's fine.
One of the most popular.
Yeah, popular. Was up in court and said, "Look, I can make these 4 chords fit absolutely any song." It did the 4 chord trick, played half a dozen songs, and the whole thing got thrown out because, as we've said, you can copyright the melody and the lyrics. That's it. Now it got complicated when Slash turned round to Axl and said, "I'd like half of Sweet Child of Mine, please, because it wouldn't be that song if it wasn't for the riff the opening riff that I wrote." And then it got grey and dirty, and all of a sudden it was back in Guns N' Roses, and they're all friends again.
Well, then you have the situation of the singer whose name I really should remember, but I don't, from Great Gig in the Sky by Pink Floyd. Yeah, there are no lyrics to that song. It's entirely instrumental. And when she was hired to sing on that track, they brought her in the studio. She asked for lead sheet lyrics, whatever. They said, no, just make it up. Just go. And she sued for writer credits because ultimately her melody, her vocal became the melody of that song. She's the writer of that song.
Right. Wow.
Because she sang the only thing in that song that can be copywritten.
Yeah. I believe they settled out of court with her as well.
Yeah.
She got her session fee on the day.
Yeah.
And that's the bit that, from a creativity point of view, normally is the nail in the coffin. You've signed, you get your check, that's it, you've signed it over. But hey.
Well, yeah. Well, if she had sang a melody and lyrics that had been provided to her that someone else had written, that would have been the end of it. But she wrote the melody. Yeah. Because of her very unique situation.
Great, isn't it?
Yeah. I took a copyright law class like 25 years ago, and almost none of it's still valid.
Well, as someone that used to be a songwriter, it's used to happen all the time. We used to get contacted all the time about a song. If a song, basically, if it's a hit, there's a writ, and that is true, unfortunately, because there are people. If you've got a song and it's released, there are people out there trying to find a way of
course there are,
trying to find out what it's about, and it's that's one of the reasons why I stopped anyway. Max, what's your favorite super strat? Should we do it? We'll do everyone.
We did this last week.
Did we?
We did this last week. Mine's a Les Paul. Remember?
Yes, we did do this last week.
Yeah.
In case Max wasn't there.
Okay.
James can do his, which is that Custom Shops Schecter, which is a lovely guitar.
Awesome guitar. Did you notice though it had a ding?
What?
It's got one little tiny ding in the neck.
Oh, here we go.
Send it over to me. I'll take it out.
It's got one little tiny chip.
Is it a chip or a ding?
There's actually a chip on the poly finish.
On the neck?
Yeah, no, on the body where it attaches to that.
I was going to say, if it's on the neck, you could steam it out.
Can you just see it there?
No, I can't see it, mate.
You get a Sharpie on that.
Sorry. Yeah, that's exactly the solution I was going for. But I just want to show Paul so I can make it feel bad.
Anything to get a couple of quid off.
I'm in a toss-up right now.
Oh, I was going to say, Steve, technically not a super strat, but that is you've got a humbucker in the bridge.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
What is
this
that?
is a
Charvel?
Yep, indeed.
Yeah.
Charvel
Nice.
DK22 SSS.
I like that.
It's amazing. It's so good. See if you're gigging. This is like the ultimate gigging switching setup. So what they've did is, I don't know if I've told you about this before because I'm always talking about his guitar. I don't play it enough because I don't like the neck profile annoyingly. It's quite a flat radius. But we've got here is the neck pickup is the reverse wound instead of the
middle. Yeah, because you don't need it in the middle anymore.
Well,
you don't need it for the humbucker.
Well, the other thing is, technically in position 4, but no, you're right. Yeah, you don't need it. But the middle position is not the middle pickup. It's the outer coil and the neck together. So it's like the telly sound.
Nice.
So it's the split coil and the thing. So yeah, so you basically got hum cancelling, humbucker, hum cancelling, these two, hum cancelling because it's the two outer ones, hum cancelling because that one's RWRP, and then the only one that's noisy is the neck pickup.
Nice.
But it's not really that noisy anyway. Seymour Duncan's in it as well. Comes stock, pretty good.
Oh, nice.
I'd never remember that.
You're not,
You check when he's out, Paul,
yeah.
for your super strat
you're not digging the compound radius though, huh?
contours on that.
You can get right up there. So Vinny just said, are you not digging the radius?
No, it's like I think it's 12 to 16 compound.
Ooh,
It's too
yeah.
flat for me. It's quite
That is
skinny neck as well.
Ah, that's put it in the bin, mate. Straight
Yeah,
away.
that's it.
This one's a little bit.
I'll shoot you my address.
This one's a little bit better. This one I think is a 9. Is it a 9 to 12?
I like
yeah,
a 9 to
I
12.
I think it's a little bit less aggressive.
Mm.
You know.
Those K lines are great, though, aren't they?
Yeah, I have to say that probably. Which one? Backwards. This one's my favorite right now. I have to say this one over, just slightly over this one. I would say
Really?
this
Okay.
is my favorite super strat right now.
And you got Lollas in the K line, yeah?
No, they're their own. They're their own.
Yeah,
pickups,
they have their own pickups. Yeah,
and they sound fantastic, man. They're really damn good. I got Lawlers in the Nash.
The Nash, sorry, that's what I was thinking. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I was thinking about putting a humbucker like you got, Steve, in yours, but I decided not to do that in the end. I just because I already got these two HSS, so I didn't want to kind of like mess up the other strat.
These are always a compromise anyway. In
Yeah.
terms of phone. It's never amazing.
this is the only thing actually close to a strat I own.
That is, I like that. I like that a lot.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
What's that?
That's a Novo Ceres S. That is a discontinued model now. And unlike the others Novos that are made with pine, this is actually made with ash.
Oh,
So,
okay.
The grain on that's beautiful.
Yeah,
Speaking of
Ash.
a piece of ash,
ash body, maple neck, rosewood fretboard. It's great, but typical strat loadout.
yeah, that's nice. I like that. How's the trem on it?
It's really, really good now. So it's the Wilkinson, but I really hated the saddles that were on it. It wasn't that they sounded bad, but they had the screws that popped up over the top, and they were cutting my hand, so I never wanted to play it. So I found some High Roads, I think they're called. Maybe I can't remember. Highwood. That's it. And they are spectacular. So it's a great guitar now. I still don't play it very much because me and Strat still just don't get along. Oh, and I also have it set up floating, so because that's who I am.
I like them flown too.
I float.
The Wilkinson trem, if you get like, and that's probably the higher end trem, just like on the the one I have on my K line, it stays in tune really well. That's dope.
Oh my god, that is the best thing I think I've ever
That is
seen.
the superest of super strats.
That's Jack and I will be playing that next time out.
I can always keep the back plate off, so you can.
That needs its own cape. It's so super.
I've got a reason for getting that. I'll tell you about it later.
So all of my super strat, I've got a couple coming. I've got the Tyler's coming back, and so I haven't got that at the moment, and the Shabbat's coming really soon.
Do you still have the Valiant?
Sorry?
Do you still have the Valiant?
Oh god, yeah. So the Valiant is here. I wouldn't class it as a strat though. That's the only thing.
Okay.
It's got an offset body, right?
Yeah, it's an
Yeah,
offset.
today you've got yeah.
Well, yeah.
But
So does my Novo. So
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, pickups are great, but at the moment it's probably the Polonia.
I tell you what, I like the tortoiseshell on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, see that I had one of those when they first came out, and that was when we were talking a couple of weeks ago. That was the only sir I sent back. They had cut one of the nut slots too low, and it was fretting out on the first fret, which was a shame because the body weighed absolutely nothing.
yeah, I do really like Tort on Sunburst.
It works, doesn't it? It works on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not going to change it. I'll keep it as it is.
Yeah, I've never,
It
like I
is.
said, I'm with you, Paul. I've never been a fan, but when you did the video, I was watching it and went, man, that tortoiseshell, that whatever color that is, the shade of that actually looks pretty good because there's some tortoiseshell that looks absolutely garbage.
Yeah, there is.
I ordered one. It literally looked like a sticker of tortoiseshell, and I just threw. I didn't even return it. I just threw it in the bin. It was that bad. So like the one on my K line is nice, but that color is, I think, different on there, and I think it worked with that body color. If you want my opinion.
Yeah, thanks,
Cue,
mate.
cue the guy who complains about us doing show and tell.
So I don't want to derail it too much, but just when you're talking about super strat, it's a bit of a subjective term, isn't it? Because when I brought the Charvel over there and it looked like it was SSS, you're like, it's not super strat. So does it have to be HSS? Because your Mercury is HSS, but it's not a strat shape. When does it become a super strat? When is it not?
It's got to be.
There's also like a hot rod, isn't there? See, I would say HSS is a hot rod. And a super strat is something that's a bit more.
Well,
I'm
super
just
strat and a hot
pointy.
rod are interchangeable. I think it has to have a humbucker in it.
I can tell you it's real simple because somebody already wrote the book on this. It needs to have a strat trim, and it needs to have a humbucker in the bridge, because that's all Eddie Van Halen needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he wrote the book on what a super strat is.
Yeah.
True that.
Indeed.
Right. Amanda, hey Mark, she's saying, hey, yeah. So let's just do the question.
RL3, yeah.
Sparks Northern, what do you guys think about the original 1959 hand-wired? I'm guessing HW versus the modded stuff coming from Marshall and Friedman. Worth the cost for the mods? I have a Boss tube amp expander for volume. I mean, I really like the modded. I mean, I tried out the modded Plexi at NAMM.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't overly blown away with it. Every time I plug into a Friedman, I go, this is fantastic. I think Friedman, he's just got an ear for that tone, for that sort of 80s Van Halen sort of style tone.
Big fat rock.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's got it right. He knows exactly what he's doing, and now people are copying him. I mean, you know, you could say that he copied people, but I think he's perfected it.
I think it's a leapfrogging thing. Like, they built on each other. Like, what he's doing is built on the mods that were getting done to Marshall amps, which were getting done based on the et cetera, et cetera. I had the hand-wired 1959 Plexi 100-watt with a 412 full of 25 watts greenbacks, just like you should have.
Nice.
Sounded freaking ace. But I think the Friedmans ultimately sound better.
I think probably because he's listening to his ears instead of worrying about schematics. You know,
And-
I watched an interview, old one, with the guy from Lawler, right? And he said that he's not. I'm paraphrasing here, but it was something to the effect of not trying to recreate somebody else's winding recipe. It was like, I'm listening with my ears to what sounds right.
He's also not beholden to tradition the
Right,
way
and
Marshall is.
Right, and I really think that's why most of their pickups, I have never heard a bad Lawler. I've had the P90s, I've had the humbuckers, I've had the single coils, and every one of them sounded stellar in the guitars that I've had.
Have you ever had an HSS Lola?
Yes. Yes,
And-
I had a lavender Nash I should have never sold. It's one of those top 5 that I should have never got rid of.
And how did you think that, because that's what's coming in the Shabbat. So
it had an Imperial in the bridge.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what Imperial, because they make a hot Imperial. They make a couple different windings, like 4 different ones. But
Yeah, I
that
like 5% under. I think that's one of them, like 5% underwound.
Yeah, I think there's like 4 different tiers. But anyway, I loved it. It sounded fantastic, and it had the single coils in the neck in the middle, and it was a great guitar. And I stupidly sold it just so I can fund and buy something else, which we do.
We've all had those.
Yeah, then we just Mike the bike. I'm thinking of changing the greenbacks to blues in my Vox AC30 top boost. Cool gear, nice. Any thoughts?
Do it.
Oh
Yeah, 100% do it.
Yeah.
I really. Oh, sorry. No. So he's doing the opposite of what I thought.
Yeah, he's changing the greenbacks to blues. Change them.
I had a custom made box for me, and it came with the blue in it, and then I changed it to a greenback, and then that lasted about 2 weeks when I decided that the chime was all gone, and the inherent quality of that, unless you're going to play Queen, was gone, and I swapped it. I put the blue back in.
See, but the
Steve's
thing is,
quiet. Do it.
The thing is, if you plug in a Vox and then you plug in a like a matchless HC30, for me, I go, oh, the matchless HC30 just sounds so damn good. Normally they put sometimes they put like a mismatched pair of a cream and a green in their cabinets, but matches normally use greenbacks, and I really like that sound. So I think I always find blues just a bit too harsh. It's just like,
I think it just depends on when you're playing. If you're going to play with a lot of drive, I think the greenback is the way to go. You know, I think it's all dependent on what you're playing. You know, that's just my opinion. But I do like the greenback and the creamback combo. That is a really cool combo to have.
Yeah.
It's always tricky as well if you're changing from a speaker that's been in your amp for a long time that's proper broken in, and then you put a new speaker in. You're maybe not going to get the optimum sound from it straight away, and might make a decision not based on its peak sound. Sense.
I just suddenly had an urge for a 4x12 with blues in it.
4x12 with blues in it. God,
yeah,
wow.
That would be amazing.
Wow. Oh, did you buy that? Did you buy that hook?
Yes, I did. You and I are gonna have and my credit card are gonna have words. So Paul decided to send me this link earlier this week, and he's like, mate, these are awesome. He's like, these rarely show up in your country. You ought to check this out. And I was like, I can't spend any more money right now. I can't. Then I got a message literally the next day from this guy I've been filling in with like a list of 5 more gig dates. And I was like, I guess I can have the money. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to lowball this guy and see what happens. And so, yeah, it's on its way.
Hey,
Nice.
So we'll see. We'll see.
I love that amp. Love that amp. Funky Bass, Vinny, what you did is the universal signal for walking like a legit.
I don't know.
What is that? What
Oh,
is
is that from earlier when I was like, yeah.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Cool.
Got it.
That's what.
right. Should we do the news? Won't
Yeah,
take
there's
long.
not much. There's only 2 bits. Sorry,
Well, before we do the news, I'm going to go out here, let you go on with the news, just so we can get through the comments a bit quicker. But
unbelievable.
thanks for having us. See you later and stuff.
See you later, mate. Have a good
Okay,
one.
we-
Coming.
Yeah.
Steve's the guy you go to the bar with and just have a great time having a
Oh
drink.
yeah,
Oh,
Steve,
yeah.
He doesn't drink as well.
I have a hard time not jumping into a bad Scottish accent when he's around. So
I do, and no one notices. It's fine.
Right. So the news is really poor today. So
Good.
I do apologise. So yes, we're going to get through this very quick. New Wolfgang specials.
Nice.
I like the red.
I like the Oxblood one there, whatever that is with the
Yeah,
fine. That's the one with the
crazy.
fine tuners on it, or no? There's one with the fine tuners. I
Oh,
think
it
that's it.
Yeah,
Some of them
actually,
do,
they
some
have
of them
got
don't.
fine tuners.
There it is.
Oh no! It's got one of those ugly 80s bridges.
the BB King bridge, as I refer to it.
Oh God, no!
I don't mind it.
You know what? I don't understand the point. I'm going to be the contrarian here. I don't understand the point. Here's why I don't. Why the flip does anybody want a stop tail Wolfgang?
There is that.
Why do you want a stop tail Wolfgang? Get a Les Paul.
Well, it's true.
When people who want Wolfgangs, they want to do the Van Halen thing.
But for a long time, the hardtail ones were really sought after. Like they're really hard
That's
to get.
weird to me.
Well, some people like the Wolfgang neck profile over the Les Paul.
Yeah,
It's got a
I guess.
definitely different neck profile.
So so a buddy of mine still plays his PV Wolfgang like OG, made in Mississippi, like one of the original ones with the Floyd. And I've played it several times just sitting around. And honestly, the neck profile and the feel reminds me of most Music Man guitars. So buy a Music Man.
That's true.
I used to have the Axis. I thought that was a nice guitar.
A great guitar.
Brilliant guitars.
Yeah, I fancy an Axis.
I'd like a Luke. That's the one I'd like at the minute.
They have those tiny nut widths that I'm like,
Yeah, but
It is tiny.
my favorite guitar of mine is my Eggle, which is a very
Similar, very similar.
violin type guitar.
Yeah,
I play resonator guitar. Give me a block of wood to to have to hold on to.
Absolutely.
Hey, I just got my resonator back, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also the other thing is too without the Floyd Rose, there are people that are deathly afraid of the Floyd Rose in dealing with the string changes, the setup, the whole thing. So
I'm one of them.
I think if somebody wanted a Wolfgang and they didn't want to fight with it, I think maybe that's probably why. The fine tuners, they could have just put a stop. I know the cheaper model's got a regular stop tail piece on it though.
Yeah.
I think you can swap it out too. I don't think there's anything that stops you from putting a regular stop tail on it.
Yeah.
That is but ugly, isn't it? That is.
Well, it's because they couldn't exactly copy the PV headstock that PV used for them. PV has a 2-tier, like a beveled thing to fill in that empty.
I like
gap in
that.
the
That little scoop out.
Yes,
That
it's
recess,
real cool.
concave. That looks cool. That was a cool design.
It's easily the best guitar PV ever made by a long shot.
Oh yeah.
So, talking about PV guitars that should never have been made, I was sent the PV Auto Tune guitar.
I forgot that existed. Thank you for bringing
Right.
back that nightmare.
Right. So so they said, "Can you review this?" And I said, "To be fair, as a guitar, no, because I mean, I think the thing cost about 350 quid, even with all the auto tuneness in it."
Yeah.
And the auto tune tech was very clever. It didn't sound very good, but it was clever. But the guitar they put it on, if they put it on one of those, you'd have gone, "What a great, clever, really cool thing on a great guitar."
Yep.
Yeah.
But they put it on the cheapest pile of junk they could find in the PV factory. The first one I got the neck did that. So it was like the distorter caster. It was unplayable.
Now, in the early 2000s, I had a couple of PVs. I forgot what the model was. It was like a certain select series. They were made in the USA, and they looked like a Sir.
Oh,
They had a flame
Yeah.
top on them and a bound flame top, and those guitars were phenomenal. They're very hard to find if you can find one, but they were made in the USA, and they look like it's a double cut, looks like a super strat, if you will, whatever you want to call it, but it looked like kind of like a Sir, like almost like an Anderson drop top, kind of like type of thing.
Yeah.
And I had two of them. They were great. They were really good. This was back when Van Halen had the endorsement with I think with PV2 back then.
Yeah, and they made I was looking for that name of that model because I know the one you're
It was
talking
a
about.
select something or something.
They also did a Vandenberg signature, which is really
Yeah,
I remember
cool,
that.
super strat. Yeah.
Yeah, this was like a select or something. I can't think of what it is now.
Y'all quit
Maybe somebody else.
sleeping on the USA made 80s and 90s PVs. Just that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on them.
you didn't. They didn't really come over to the UK, so
Yeah. There were a dime a dozen here. Every pawn shop had a stack of them.
Wow.
amazing. Right, the next thing, which I'm pretty excited about because I think this looks amazing, is
Oh yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's beautiful.
isn't that great?
I'm so sad that it's a limited run.
Mm.
I'm so frustrated by it. If this were available in like dumb it down a little, bring it down to like a Fender USA, put 2K, 2.5K on it.
Yeah,
I'd be selling stuff to buy this guitar.
Yes. How much is it?
I don't know because they only made 67 of them.
$7,000.
You would have loved my custom shop, Paul. I had the Fender custom shop telly that was the paisley underneath with the black paint over the top, where it's
Oh,
like
I'm not
relic,
one-
and you could see the paisley pattern underneath it.
Was that the one with the humbucker in the neck? that they did?
Yes, it was. Yes, it had a,
Because
it
it had-
actually had a
had the-
Wolfgang humbucker
Yeah,
in the neck.
walking the neck. Yeah,
Yeah, I
They
never
were
liked that.
great. Yeah,
I never liked the humbucker, but the guitar was phenomenal playing.
Do
Funny
any
you
of y'all have B Bender experience or G Bender experience?
I've played a friend's and gone, this is weird but cool because you can do some really cool chordy stuff with it.
not in the UK, mate.
Yeah. I've got a guitar that I've already talked to Joe Glazer's shop in Nashville that I'm going to have him put a B Bender in, and I'm really, really excited about it. That's going to be next couple of months. I'll do a video when it gets done.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. But
It'll sound terrible because I won't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to do a video about it.
But the only thing for me is just the added weight it's going to add. But you're doing it to your Novo, aren't you?
Yeah, and also with the Glazer. So there's 3 folks who make B Benders that are like big, well known.
Yeah.
Then there's a 4th shop that like they make their own guitars with benders built in that are a whole different, their own model called 3 Bender. They're real cool too. But the Forrest Lee version that everybody's used to seeing, where they have to route out all the wood on the back of the body and add all the metal, that's one style. But this guitar doesn't have that. This guitar has the Glazer. Glazer's process, they literally drill a hole near the end pin all the way to the neck pocket, and they install a cable. And there's a cable and a spring mechanism that they add to the existing bridge. and they add a different neck plate so that there's a lever there. So there's almost no weight added to it. You see right there on the plate?
Yeah, there is.
This is the Glazer. That's the G bender. Now the version I'm getting put in can actually be flipped. If you ever decide, oh, I wanted a G bender instead of a B bender, take the strings off, flip the bender. Now it's a G bender instead of a B bender.
Oh,
nice.
James and Paul, I sent to your Facebook Messenger a link to that guitar, and it was called the Limited, Phil.
The Limited.
Yeah,
USA
USA
I'll
Limited.
tell you what I'll do.
ST.
I'll come off. I'm gonna have to come off here because I can't see what you guys do. And if I go on there, everyone's gonna be.
Oh yeah, it'll flip off and do weird things.
Yeah, so I will. I'll come back.
yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah, somebody already posted it down on the thing. Yeah, referring to PV Limited ST. That's it, Chris. Whoever.
So yeah, look at that. So actually, what? Shall I just look up here? What is it? It's the
PV Limited ST. And I had one in no.
No, let's go down. Chub. No.
Click on that Reddit thread at the risk of going to Reddit.
This one?
Yeah, they're talking about it.
There's one on Reverb.
What?
No, it ended. It ended. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So hold on. Let me just go. And I'll tell you what. Just so.
Can I paste the link into the chat? Would that work?
No,
You
can't do it.
That's it right there.
Here we go.
There it is.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, nice.
I own 2 of those. They were super, super good.
Yeah, they look great, don't they?
Yeah.
That's a good looking guitar. That's great.
They just didn't really catch on. I don't know why, because maybe that style of guitar wasn't the super hotness back then like it is now.
Yeah, that's true. That's great. That the shape, it's almost got that sort of axis.
It's almost like a PV and a Sir had a baby.
Yeah.
950.
Look at that. Is it just a standard strat shape? Is that picture a bit weird?
It's standard strat shape, pretty close anyway.
There, it's fatter on the bottom end.
Fat, yeah.
No, that looks a little bit out of. That looks better. I think it would look. That the other picture look a little weird.
No, you're right. There's a little. So it's got a symmetrically rounded bottom to it, whereas a strat does not. A strat has an angle to the bottom.
Yeah. That's what it is.
That's what's going on there.
Nice. Look at that. Yeah, look good. Looking good.
That was all the news.
Yeah, that's it.
Sorry, yeah. There's nothing going in.
Let's steamroll these.
Here we go.
Mama Kraken's favorite speaker in a mix in a 2x12 is a vintage 30 and Alnico Cream. Super versatile, punchy, and charming. Nice.
That's an interesting mix.
They're chatting amongst themselves. Let's go in there.
Xavier, hey guys, greetings from Mexico.
Javier.
Oh man.
Javier Gallegos.
Oh mate,
Hola, Javier.
Having a local so handy.
Yes, it is. Isn't it? Mad Max Mojotone's a great brand for humbuckers. Great price too. Oh,
Yep.
I didn't know they make pickups as well.
Well, those things I put in my Sheraton, the iron gears, they're great for not much dough.
No, yeah, I think they might be Far Eastern pickups. I've got a feeling. I could be wrong.
Sounds great.
Yeah, they did sound really good, didn't they?
More about this beast.
The other day I was watching Gildorians, a tech YouTuber and Mr. Beast fan, asked him if he had a gas mask. So it's a small world on YouTube. Interesting.
That same guy apparently asked him if he had a gas mask on their thread as well, on their live stream.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah, what a weird dude.
That is weird, isn't it?
Hey, we're being trolled.
Yeah.
We've made it. We're being trolled.
Amanda says, Philip, for what podcast?
Y'all, if you don't know Amanda, and she's gonna be mad at me because she was like, "Oh, I'm on a stream where nobody knows who I am." Amanda is a moderator over at Phil McKnight's channel.
Oh, that Amanda! Now I know who Amanda is.
Amanda is well versed in guitar circles.
Sorry, Amanda. Yes, Phil. I am probably the biggest Phil McKnight. That podcast is my running podcast.
Yeah,
which pretty much that goes on every day. So I know who you are. Thanks, Amanda.
Thanks for joining us.
Adam, he says, in the past, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with the Fender Panoverb.
Okay, Adam. In the past, the amp's only been out about 9 months.
Adam actually bought one fairly
early.
Yeah, he really did. Yeah.
If you don't like it, Adam, send it to me. I flippin' love that amp.
Do you?
I think it is the most innovative, best sounding amp Fender has put out in 50 years.
You heard it here first. Well,
I got to crank one up in a Guitar Center because I was there with another Guitar Center employee, but from a different brand, different location. And it was in their platinum room in the Nashville stores. And somehow nobody was in there except me, this friend of mine, and this one other dude. And he was already playing the Piano Verb and didn't know anything about it. Of course, I and my buddy knew plenty about it. So we all sat around and started figuring it out. We cranked it to 10 and did the whole wet dry with the reverb. The vibrato can go stereo between the two speakers because it's got 2 power outputs to each speaker. Nice. It is the most spectacular sounding amp they've made.
Awesome.
In a long time.
Cool.
Isn't it funny? It's funny how like amp manufacturers there aren't many stereo amplifiers.
I just thought about this the other day. I was really sad. Turns out Creation Music, the pedalboard company,
Right.
They made a stereo amplifier. I only found out about it because somebody locally is selling one. I'm not about to buy it. He's actually asking more than the new price would be for one.
Well,
but
I had a look on because I've been reviewing this amp, and I went on AMS's website, and AMS do it's called the Hurricane 4040, and it's a dual 40-watt valve amp.
Yeah,
it's great. What great idea!
Huh. Now in a head it makes sense because you'd feed to 2 speakers, split them either side of the drummer, and there's your big old stereo loveliness.
So
Marshall did I know it doesn't really count as a valve amp, the Valve State 4040, which had all the delays and chorus and stuff built in, but it was in a 2x12 cabinet and they were next to each other. Unless you were there, what's the point?
I'll be honest. I think stereo rigs in general are I don't like stereo guitar rigs because I don't think if you're not listening to a recording of stereo guitars, if you're live, it's lost. It's done. Nobody hears it that way. But with a stereo amp, you can do wet dry in the same amplifier because you have 2 separate amps. You can feed dry to one side, wet to the other, and you've got a one package wet dry where you can really get some cooler sounds that you can't get by going mono or because just the way serialized effects work, series running into each other.
Yeah,
more people need to do it. There are some amps out there that have stereo effects loops and then feed 2 separate power sections, but I want 2 separate preamps.
Okay, let me share the screen. I love stereo. I mean,
we talked about this earlier, literally.
But I love stereo, big stereo effects. Brought up in the 80s, of course I do. So, but anyway, yeah, look, 2 sides, got a left and a right side. Simple 3-way bright switch off, as they do, as AMS do.
It's exactly what I want. As simple as it can be. You could do wet dry into that. You could do stereo out of that. That's a beautifully simple rig. I've been toying with buying like an old I need to find a broken one because I don't want to break a vintage amp, right? I want to find an old busted Bandmaster reverb or a dual Showman reverb and take the 2 channels that are in that.
Yeah.
Separate the power section because they're both the dual Showman especially runs 4 6L6s. Instead, if I can find a way to add another output transformer, I can have 40 watts aside stereo and rewire that amp to do that.
Nice.
But that's a big ask, and I'm probably never going to do it. I just think it'd be a cool idea. Somebody else should do it.
It's funny though that you say that you don't like stereo. So for me, stereo guitar amps work in smaller bands. So where you've got a power trio, for example, it works. Where you've maybe got a keyboard player who doesn't just fill up everything with big lush pads and stuff, actually plays parts, it works. As soon as the band gets fuller, the need for stereo becomes less.
Yeah, I think so. Stereo sounds amazing in small groups and small rooms. I think it gets lost in big rooms, and I think wet dry becomes a better route. Even if you're not full, even if you're like TPS wet dry, which is not true wet dry, they even say it. I think that works a lot better.
Mm. But look at that eight valves.
It's so many valves.
So good, isn't it? So good.
Because they're doing 40 watt with 6V6s instead of 6L6s.
I bet that thing weighs the same as a small moon.
Yeah, I think it's. I'd like to get my hands on one. I'd love to try one.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be at Guitar Summit. So maybe
Yay!
Mind you, Guitar Summit's silent. It's a silent show.
Oh, that's right.
Funky bass.
I'm trying to get to Guitar Summit next year. I've already told Kelly. I think I'm going to try to get there next year.
Yeah, you bring her over for a holiday.
That's the plan. That's the plan.
And she can come and look at guitars and amps like the same as you do.
It like she does everywhere else we go.
Funky bass, Greenback G12M plus G12H sound awesome together.
Yeah.
Yep. Go with
that. Nelson P. Is what speaker in a 40 watt 1x12 combo equals
Greenback? Yeah, that's a great shout. Or a Vintage 30.
Or a V30, nice.
For a Marshall DSL 40. I would go Greenback for that. That's great.
And it'll tame down some of that crispiness on the DSL a little bit. It kind of takes that edge off.
That's a good shout, actually. Yeah. Anton, I had a PV Renown 2x12. I hated it.
That's unfortunate. Leonard Skinner loved them.
Yeah. Oh, is it Leonard?
So the Renown is similar to an amp that Skinner used. Skinner used the PV Mace, which, by the way, that's the actual origin of the phrase Mississippi Marshall, specifically the PV Mace. And it was used a lot in the 70s, not just Skinner, because it had, instead of tremolo, it had phaser built into it. And so all the phaser you hear in old Skinner recordings is the phaser in the PV Mace.
Wow.
Cool. Max says, I don't like tweed on my amps. I like the look of tweed.
I used to hate it. I like it now.
I love it.
It's an age thing. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Or just being a blues thing.
Yeah. Gustav, okay. So I'm at the homeless shelter and one of the kids has a terrible memory disorder. Can you recap the Mr. Beast fan saga and show the old clips?
No.
We can't, I'm afraid, because we can't go back on the live show to a previous. I mean, when was it? It was 2 or 3 weeks ago. So if you go into the YouTube, on the live stream, and go back a couple of weeks, you'll see it. I hope they enjoy it. Blue Note, you guys really need to check out that cheap Toman tube amp, 15 watts, 3 12x7 pre's, 2 EL84s, and a Celestion speaker, £222.
Wow.
We'll speak to our Toman contact.
Yeah, that'd be a good shout. Gustav, I would make poor. I'm
that's the kid with terrible memory.
Yeah. I wish we could. Yeah, I really wish we could. Unfortunately, we can't. There's no way for us to be able to do it.
No.
Mad Max Steve's in the house.
He was.
Yeah. Rich Paul, hello, mate. Good evening, gents. Evening, Rich.
I love that strat.
Nice strat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jim, I guess you think the Valve King does not sound good is why my local guitar center has a used one for only $300. Damn.
I bought one for $75 once. A tube amplifier.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was that god awful thing I bought for? Oh, we can't say the name of it because we'll be sued.
That narrows it down. That doesn't limit it.
Sounds a lot like the name of the panther from Jungle Book.
Let me say it's Bugera. It was it was the
I'm like, who the hell's the panther in the Jungle Book?
Bagheera.
Yeah. God, it sounded awful. It was like someone had, yeah. I don't even know.
It was horrible.
I feel like I can get a pretty decent sound out of most amplifiers.
Not
And
this
so
thing, you couldn't.
when I come across one where it's just impossible, honestly, that's more remarkable nowadays than running across a good sounding amp, or even a great sounding amp.
Get yourself onto your local guitar center and buy yourself a Bugera, the cheapest valve amp you could possibly find with the Bugera logo in it. It was one of those lunchbox things, wasn't it? A lunchbox 30 or whatever. Oh god, it was awful.
No, it was supposed to be, because as they do, they sort of copy things, and it was basically their version of the Vox Night Train.
Yes, I know.
Which was a great amplifier.
Yes.
And it had that sort of metal look about it as well. Yeah, oh god, it was awful.
Yeah, no.
It also, once it'd been on for about 3 minutes, you couldn't touch the thing.
Yeah, it's metal,
Yeah, they get hot.
Unless you wanted to look like the guy out of Indiana Jones, where you had the print on your hand.
Kalima, sorry.
Kalima.
Amanda says, "Well, I'm glad I stumbled upon this live, Philip and Steve."
Oh,
There you
See,
go.
look at that.
yeah.
Go have it, says Nick.
Yeah.
Now, Max, sorry. A string brand should make packets of just D strings, 15 strings in each pack. Metal guys would love that.
Yeah.
Nick, sorry for the typo. Got a habit of logging in every Wednesday. I hope you keep doing these live streams. Cheers, Nick. Yes, we're planning on.
We've done it for the last
God
300 or 248 shows or whatever it is.
knows. 4 or 5 years doing this. No, 4 years. It can't be 5 years. Maybe 3 years. I don't know.
I mean,
Wow.
248 is almost 5 years worth of Wednesdays.
Yeah.
God, what am I doing in my life?
Yeah. That's crazy when you think of it like that. Oh, yeah, sorry, that one.
Yeah.
Sorry. Luke, Evening Rats, any recommendations for pickup replacement for PRS Custom 22? Good shout. Definitely replace them. Dragon 2 pickups. Love the guitar, but I find it a little bit muddy and undefined. Something good for a rock function set.
It's going to be Thornbuckers, surely.
I did a video, funny enough. I bought a PRS Custom 22 with Dragon 2 pickups and did a video on changing the pickups. And I changed them for bare knuckle mules, I think. I think they were mules. I'd highly recommend, if you want like really versatile pickups, Sir Thornbuckers for me, because they sound more single coil like, because they're bright and they're airy. Or the Sir DSV, which I like as well.
Anthony says,
had BK mules in my custom 22 for 20 years. Only changed for a pair of PRS 58 152s I got from Paul. A distinct improvement for me, but the mules are great too. Way better than the Dragons. Yeah, I hate the Dragons.
There you go.
Didn't Anthony buy the thingy, the signature ones?
Oh yes, he did. The 5815 LTs.
Yes.
Oh, that's what he means.
Yeah, the
That's what he
5850.
means. Oh, they 5815 S's. Oh, okay. I thought they were LTs.
I had a pair of those off the shelf bare knuckles. They're PAF clones. They're like, I forgot what the hell they were called. They were like they're lower. It was not, I should say lower line, because I made just as good, but they were like the ones that are readily available. I can't remember what they were. There was a couple. There's like there's a True Grit one. There's something else, but there was the lowest of the windings. And I had put them in a Nags, and they sounded really good.
They're called
what the hell were they called? Old Guard. The Old Guard, and they weren't that
Mhm.
expensive. Those are good. I have the Rebel Yells in the Steve Stevens model, and they're a little bit harder.
Of
But I like
course
those.
you do.
Those are good.
Are they good? Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
like them
haven't tried the Rebel Yells. I'd like to try them.
Do they cry out for more?
sometimes. Depends how hard you hit it.
Thank you, Bass. Jarvis got a big package, said the hotel rep receptionist to the manager.
Well done, Funky. You've been thinking that for a while, haven't you?
Luke, thanks, Anthony. I appreciate that recommendation. Glad to hear I'm not the only one that isn't a fan. I thought it was me. You may have saved me from selling the whole guitar. What was Luke? Was that the...
At PRS.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would recommend after having the mules and also having a something like the Sir Pete Thorne guitar, which I think is a great sounding twin humbucker guitar, HH guitar. I would probably go for the Sirs.
Yep.
Nick, any of you got experience with Alexia nanowebs? I like them a lot. What are your thoughts, Vinny?
Yes, I did actually product testing for a few years. I was one of those people. Yes, they're slick. They last a long time, but if you're kind of a nutcase like some of us are, where you're like A and B and stuff all the time, and you take the same guitar and you put regular strings on there, there's a chime that you're missing that's not there because it's coated. But it does last longer. They are smoother feeling. And I also think, and this is just me, I think that they have more tension on them for whatever standard set than another set of its same tension. You know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
So,
They all do. They all do.
Yeah.
Any sort of coated string feels like heavier tension to me.
yeah,
as well.
but they're not bad. If you like them, great. But just don't A and B them into a chimey set of strings, because especially with single coils, that's where you're going to notice the big difference. Is moderately clean, slight breakup, single coils. You're going to hear a difference, and you might get annoyed and not use them again. That's just my opinion. And I tried what was the newer ones that they came out with that had the less, because I was testing those.
There we go.
He hasn't said a word. So.
Phil, it's not the nanowebs. What's the other ones the ones that have the very, very light, super light coating now? That's what the product testing
Polywebs.
There's Polyweb, nanoweb, and there's another one. And I think when I was doing the testing, they were developing that has the least coating on it.
I gave up on coated strings because of freaking elixirs. I hated them. I hated everything about them. They feel awful. They shed like a snake skin. They sound dull the day you put them on. I thought I was done forever with coated strings until 2 different sets. And I still don't use them for electric guitars because I'm one of the blessed ones that doesn't have the acidic sweat that eats through strings. I don't change strings that often. I don't have intonation problems. I rotate guitars enough that it's not that big a deal. It's what happens when you have more guitars than enough guitars. I like the D'Addario. I think it's the XS strings.
Yeah.
They have 2 versions of their coated strings. They have an XT and they have an XS. Whichever one, they're coated 2 different ways. I wish I had a string here just to show you. But on one of them, they coat like the elixirs do. They wind the string and then they coat the whole string in whatever their coating is. Hate those. There's another one where they take the wind that they use, coat the wind, and then wind the strings. Right. So the entire string isn't coated.
And it doesn't shed.
It doesn't shed. It sounds brighter and better. And those last a long time. I really like those. But then I discovered the Foxwoods from Stringjoy. Stringjoy do that same thing. They just do it better than D'Addario does.
Yeah, Stringjoy.
And that's for acoustics.
Stringjoy orbiters.
Yep.
I've just done.
That's the electric version of the Foxwood.
Yeah. I haven't tried those yet.
The packet looks like that. It's their coated. That's their coated strings, and they're great. There is a tension difference. So on like a Les Paul, for me, even better because you've got the shorter scale length and it just evens up a little bit. But there is a difference.
Cool.
Big time.
Greg from Conventions in Gearland says, Paul, if you've got a 40-watt amp, if you only had someone with a YouTube channel suggesting expertise in that very specific area about to offer salient information.
Yeah. You said if you have a 40-watt amp, and of course, obviously 40-watt podcast.
I see.
My podcast is named after my Super Reverb. That was the amp I owned at the time when I started it.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, good show on what was the show you did recently with
Joe from Hello Sailor?
Yes, that was a really good show.
What a great dude. Joe's story I did not expect. I thought we'd have a great time talking about, you know, building pedals out of discarded battleship parts. That's what I really thought that podcast was going to be. I didn't think we'd go down a whole like rabbit hole of how the military and the guitar world saved his freaking life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, what a great dude. If y'all aren't familiar with Hello Sailor Effects, y'all really need to go check him out. I'm gonna have to buy something from him eventually.
Yeah, he's quite local to me actually. He's
Yeah.
He's just down the coast a bit.
Yeah, he just loaned or is loaning Joe Branton from Guitar Nerds the train wreck that he built. The train
cool.
wreck.
Yeah, I heard him say that on the show.
Yeah,
that's cool.
All you folks being so close. I don't have any nearby like real gear nerd friends for like, I don't know, 2-hour drive one way.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, Brighton, where Joe lives, is probably a couple of hours.
Okay.
Yeah. Terence, my 16-year-old asks, will there ever be another 1980s to 1999 period in rock music? Good question.
It's here right now if you're willing to look for it.
I think it's here as well.
Yeah.
It's here right now if you're willing to sift for it.
Hair rock is back. So commercial rock is back.
But it's not just about. He didn't just say hair rock.
Yeah.
But there's some great. Let's 1980s. Let's talk about Springsteen. There was more than just sort of hair rock and stuff.
It's all there. It's all still out there. I mean, even like power pop is out there now. There's some really great bands doing that stuff again. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be able to name them, but I know they exist because my friends send me the stuff that's being put out. I'm still a blues and Americana nerd, which I learned yesterday because someone was asking for musical selection it's Mother's Day here in the US this weekend. And so their mom is a big music fan and looking for some new music to get their mom for Mother's Day. And they're like, oh, she really likes. And then like, it was all like Southern soul, blue-eyed soul, and like Americana, like great music bordering on yacht rock. And I was like, oh, this is my wheelhouse. So I like rattled on half a page of bands that, any of these will work. But we have so much music at our fingertips right now by amazing artists. The problem is if you are waiting to hear them on the radio, or you're waiting to see them on Saturday Night Live, or you're waiting to see them on a late night talk show,
not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
No.
You're going to have to go look for them.
Every time I get in my car randomly just to go, pick up my daughter from school or whatever, and I put on XM, it's the same damn songs.
Yeah.
Like ironically all the time.
Unfortunately,
do you remember when like Saturday Night TV, what had, for example, I was flicking through now. Okay, I know I'm 48, and so that puts me in nearly old category.
Rarefied air.
Yeah, but I was going. I found an old episode of the Muppet Show, right? As in Kermit and Miss Piggy, etc. And Buddy Rich, as in jazz drumming legend, argued the greatest drummer of all time, was on the Muppet Show.
Yep.
These people were mainstream Saturday night TV legends.
Yeah.
There is no mainstream Saturday night TV outlet. I mean, SNL is the America has SNL. We don't have that. Yeah. The closest we probably get to that is probably Saturday Night Takeaway with Ant and Dec or something like,
And America used to have a ton. We used to have, if you were into certain styles of music, we had Soul Train, we had Saturday Night Live, we had
Arsenio Hall,
every late night talk show.
I remember watching Living Color on Arsenio Hall, Vernon Reid going nuts.
One of my favorite bands.
Yeah. We've got a load of questions and not much time, so let's get through them.
Yeah, here we go. Boom.
Graham, is there any difference tonally playing with an amp up very loud and the guitar volume low, as some do, or the guitar volume up and the amp at a reasonable volume? God, good question. And
yes,
yeah,
massive difference.
Graham, can we talk about that next week, because it's probably
that's a big topic.
Yeah,
we could do an hour on that on our own.
Yeah.
There's definitely. But remember to ask that next week, Graham. We'd love to talk about
early doors.
Yeah, barristers also lawyers in Britain. Just more cost. In Scotland, it's lawyer.
Oh,
Funky Bass, Great Gig in the Sky. We studied that in my master's degree. Pink Floyd did the right thing in the end. They
Yep.
sure did.
Well, it's because it was either that or they were going to lose their shirts.
Yeah.
I think the way they said to her, "Can you pretend that you're a saxophone on acid, please?" was the line that they actually said to her.
Satchel and Coldplay had issue with if I could fly, but again, that's someone looking for that. As I was talking about earlier, that was. That was. I mean, it's not. There's no way that Chris Martin went. Chris Martin goes, "Oh, Joe Satriani's my."
No.
That was a coincidence.
Yeah.
Especially because most people you ask who Joe Satriani is, like just the lay person, they have no idea who that is.
Exactly. Javier says, "What pedals would you consider modern classics?" Funny. It's funny we keep talking about this stuff. I really like what I think is a modern classic is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about that earlier today. I need to try one.
Yeah.
Define modern.
Last 20 years.
The TC Chorus.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Good one. That's a good one.
Because it's awesome.
I don't know.
I'm
And
trying to see what
I'll put in there as well the TC Flashback for delays, because there have been a load of different versions and they're all brilliant.
And that's on everybody's board. You see them all the time.
Yeah.
That's a good shit. I think
I would say the Nobles has made a good comeback with more modern.
Definitely.
I have like 5 different versions of Nobles, I think.
Never tried one. I need to try one.
Oh, you would love it. I know you would like it. I know you would like it.
Don't. I'm gonna have to go and buy one.
And it has, and you can set it in the way every Nashville player has it set, just to give you that extra little push over the edge.
Well, I need to try that. I need to try it. Go on, Phil.
I'm a little out by 2 years. This pedal came out 22 years ago. But it's this little thing called the King of Tone.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can't get more modern classic than that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'd say that's
That probably is the.
Yeah.
It's a new con, isn't it? That's
Yeah. 100%. Well, the Klon only came out like 8 years before that. So came out like 94. So
wow. Jim says, "Do you guys think that I could put an active EMG 81 in an Ibanez Art 320 with 3-volt active pickups and 550?
Oh, so you're beyond my electronic capabilities there.
No, yeah, EMGs are 200k. They're massive. No, I don't think. I think you'd have to change the pots and stuff. But you probably need to speak to someone with a bit more.
Yeah, if you're gonna do that, I would just go do the whole plug and play kit and just start from scratch. Do the whole thing. And the Lukather set's the way to go right there. That's it.
Yeah, that's the Lukather set. Yeah, that's
and Steve is going to put a battery box in the back.
Brilliant.
Steve Lukather's going to put it in.
Pardon?
Steve Lukather's going to put it in.
Yeah, he is. He's going to pop round, and he went, "Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, and I'll play some riffs."
He'll bring his router with him.
Yeah. Nick Det says, "I like you guys keep showing 22 frets. Get more distance as I grow older to 24 frets. Of course, it's personal taste, but I feel like sacrificing hundreds of notes sound for 2 additional. To me, I'd never get that far up. I just don't see the point of 24 frets, because you can't bend up on that 20. Well, you can obviously, but it's so hard to bend up on the 24th fret.
Yeah.
That you might as well have a 22 fret and bend up to 24 fret.
I had a hammer with 27 one time.
20. I remember those.
The Californian.
Yeah.
Those things were wild. They had like the wildest additional cut on the lower bout to get to that too.
Yeah, it had that angle. Did you just say that, Paul? You had the angled fretboard, like it was half 27 frets. It was like only a few. Yeah.
But
really
so
cool.
how does, for example, the Washburn N2?
Yeah, the
Nuno one.
N4.
N4. That's got that weird upper cut fill-in bit, and yet he can.
Oh no! That's just a normal Strat. It's a normal Strat with a.
It's got a unique neck joint in it.
Yeah. But he could get up there and do all that crazy. I mean, he's Nuno. He could play it on a Squire. So
he's a genius. Absolutely.
My first guitar had 24 frets, and I've never owned another guitar with 24 frets.
You know what I would like instead of the extra frets? How about, I don't know if this is possible, but if you look at a Gibson SG, why can't they just take that and move the neck
That way.
inward a little bit? Because
Uh-huh.
there's a lot of body and real estate happening over here, right? You could put a coffee maker there, whatever. Like just move it down a little bit so that that first fret isn't so damn far away.
Yeah.
I
But
would
then,
love
but
that.
then where are you going to put the maestro?
The
The vibrola.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the little EVH bridge with the little micro tuners on it.
Really, when you said you had a hammer, I wanted to say, was it in the morning or the evening?
And the only reason is because out of muscle memory, sometimes I'm gonna go back when I had an SG, I go back to like the second fret or whatever, and I'm one fret off because of how it sits.
So
you know?
Paul set me up with that Gibson. What was that thing I played at the Gibson room at NAMM?
It's a Firebird.
Firebird, and it's like this.
Every time I play a Firebird, I'm just like, I think I'm playing. I think I'm playing in A, but I'm actually playing in B. It's just my head just
There it
cannot
is.
cope with it.
Yeah, baby.
So
Yeah.
Phil, does that got the
Cool as
same phenomenon as the SG? The neck
Yeah.
feels like it's further out. It's the same
Yeah.
thing.
Even worse, I
Yeah.
would say.
It does feel like it's really far out there, but it's really, this is a stand-up guitar. Don't get me wrong, it's comfortable sitting down, but sitting down, the neck's really far out. Like if you've got shoulder issues in your left shoulder, don't play this guitar because everything is shifted that way a little. But when you go to stand up and
But
suddenly
look at the
here-
amount of timber that's behind the bridge.
yeah, but when you're like here, suddenly everything's where it's supposed to be when you're standing up with it.
Okay.
It feels natural. Now, that's the other wild thing about these guitars. They're lots of wood. It feels like 7 pounds. They're light.
If James brings in right, I knew
Yeah,
he was going to bring this in. I knew he was going to bring this in, so he's doing that. We're doing that with him. There we go. I knew that thing is not coming on.
You
Right.
cheeky bugger.
That thing is not coming on. That thing is not coming on. Right. Oh, I just picked up Henry's guitar as per review from Henning. There it is. Oh, sorry, just lagged a little bit. As per review from Henning, the Python HSS series, they are absolutely fantastic at such a good price. I've whacked a Thornbacher Plus in the bridge. And wow.
Yeah.
The where they made those Henry's guitars? Anyone know?
No idea.
Apologies for booting you out then, but you know my feelings on that guitar.
Now Steve set this up. It's fabulous.
I'm
Oh my
looking
God,
them up.
Those pickups are just.
Are they out of Henry's Music, like a music shop called Henry's Music? They're at least a dealer. I have no idea. I'll try to figure out where they're made. You keep going.
Nice one. Neck Debt says, keep calling Steve Cassaday more. We've got to call him more.
More.
Javier says, Lola Blondes killed my hunting for the best Strat pickup. Nice. That's good to know.
I've got the Lawler 64s in my Novo, and they are
Nice.
great sounding pickups.
Oh, this is. I'm excited about this Shabbat coming in. Anthony says, "Yep, I've dirty blondes in his
Nice.
Strats."
Oh, for God's sake.
Sorry, James. I'll let you. Sorry, mate. Go on. Wes, I have an AC15C and tried 4 different speakers and ended up with the on the blue. Never sounded better. There you go. I guess that's why they put it in there.
Yeah.
Mike the Bike, thanks for your help. I'll order a blue and cream and then try the mix with the greenback.
That might work. Yeah.
Amanda says that she likes the shape and the feel of a Wolfgang. Nice.
Yeah, the neck profile is definitely different.
Yep.
Is it trying to be PC? Is the neck profile like the standard sort of Music Man sort of smaller neck?
No,
So
the Wolfgang. I don't think the Wolfgang's got that thinner nut.
No,
feel.
Wolfgangs are a chunky
Yeah,
baseball.
it's isn't it like, I think the back of that neck's almost like asymmetrical shape that on the back of it. I think it's
It's
yeah.
off center, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It does look like a lot like the Music Man.
It's got a 41 millimeter nut on the PV Wolfgang.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that relates to others.
That is small though. That 41 is not that wide. Usually, like what you see is like medium is like 43, 42 and a half, 43 ish.
Yeah.
So
So I
maybe,
wonder if that's more suitable for women's hands.
it
don't
could
know.
be. It could be.
It is smaller than my typical like Gibson nut width that I'm used to. So that I know that because like 43, 44 is where I live.
Yeah. Chris, you're referring to the PV Limited ST. God, are we that far?
Yes,
are we that
yeah,
far?
yeah.
Back?
Yeah, we've got a few
Oh
to go.
my God.
Let's move.
Okay, let's go. I believe it came out towards the end, if not after EVH's agreement with PV.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the HP, which is what they make now.
Yeah.
Or something like it. Yeah.
PV's Grover Jackson Mercury. The Mercury body has a bit of chunk. Oops, sorry, James. Sorry, I'm doing that. We keep fighting. Sorry.
That's another good set of pickups too. If somebody's looking for pickups, is to check out the Grover Jackson made humbuckers that they were putting in the Friedmans. They're really good pickups too.
They are really good.
Yeah.
Oscar looks like a Harley Benton.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
It looks better than a Harley Benton. I'm going to be honest, but I get the vibe.
Oh, she says, still love you, Phil.
Love you, Amanda. Amanda's great.
And thanks, guys. Blush. Any opinions on the Not a Dumble? It's funny.
Cheap,
I was so we were having discussions in our group, and Greg thought it was going to be a Memory Man clone, which I was like,
yeah, we'd have been there.
I wanted it to be a Memory Man clone,
but it's not Dumble. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, delay pedal's a little bit more difficult to solder the circuit system than like an overdrive pedal.
I know. So
Yeah.
a compressor is hard as well.
It
because
will-
I'm currently fighting a compressor.
so I'm gonna do a video because of course I ordered one. I'm gonna do a video on putting it together and some opinions on it, but also they will sell as many of them as they want.
Yeah.
Not just because of the whole building kit thing, but because the clean side of that is a pedal that's been on John Mayer's board for years that JHS built for John Mayer.
Yeah.
So John Mayer effect plus the JHS effect, they'll sell as many of them as they can make.
Yeah. That's true.
Chaz from
in the house.
says, I've got a Marshall 4x12 with Eminence Tonka speakers that I love for my JCM 800.
I don't know those speakers.
I love those Eminence speakers.
Wes, there are already tech reports of the Panoverbs having issues.
Ooh.
Damn. Well, there's a lot to go wrong, I guess.
Yeah.
Session Gold said, hi guys, do you guys have any advice to get those pristine sparkly DI tones plugged guitar directly into an interface? I don't get that pristine hi-fi end when I'm doing it. Is it
Because
preamp?
you're missing one thing. A compressor that is spanking the life out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and high and low pass. High pass.
Yeah.
High pass as well. I mean, it's compressor, it's DI'd,
Yeah.
it's a compressor, it's chorus.
It's a lot of EQ to roll the bottom and to shape it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But compression is the thing that will go. You'll go, there it is, I think.
Yeah. Because what guitar amp does, a guitar amp takes off the lows and the highs. It
Yeah.
just rounds it all off. But
Did he say he had a 4x12 with these tonkers in it?
Yes.
That's a 150 watt speaker.
Dang.
Yeah. Chaz has a studio that he's been sort of sending me videos and updates and stuff. The place is vast. They're in South Wales, upstate New York, and I think the snow has only just lifted. The place is vast.
You could
I'm a bit
run an
worried.
SVT into that 412.
Yeah.
I'm a bit worried. This might be the first time we don't actually finish questions.
No, we're gonna finish.
They're just gonna keep coming. Good
No,
evening.
we'll finish. We'll finish.
Okay, let's.
We have to. It's part of our creed, our mantra.
Let's be selective then. We're gonna have to be
No, it's all of them. We get it.
Oh, God.
Don't have to answer anything time stamped after 4. After
Okay.
the time.
Okay. Good evening, all. Good evening, Hollywood.
They're all chatting. Yes.
Chris, any thoughts on PV amps?
The classic 20 is the one to go for.
Yeah. Chaz, I played a 3-piece band 2010, 2014. Had a stereo rig with an AC30 on my side of the stage and AC on the other side of the drummer. It was glorious. Nice.
Yeah.
Timmy Tomey says, do you think we're living in the golden age of guitars in terms of attention to details? That's a good question. Yeah.
Anyone who tells you we're not is wrong.
Has not bought a guitar for 100 quid and gone, this is amazing.
Yeah. Gustav, can you make a short showing of his comment for Z?
No, we can't.
We
can't
can't,
go back in.
I'm afraid. We can't. I wish we could, mate. We can't because we can't get back into it while we're doing the show. Would love to though. Graham, AITA ordered a Fender Tonemaster Pro and sent it straight back. I get better, more responsive tones from my Katana artist. Second time I dipped toes into modeling, and it's still not for me. Interesting.
Tim Pierce likes it, but again, Tim Pierce could make a Squire, a Sun Mustang. So
Also, Graham, for what it's worth, the Katana artist is modeling. You just like that modeling better than you like the Tonemaster Pro modeling.
yes,
And Tim Pierce was given it.
of course he was.
Graham, I have to use coated strings because I kill non-coated strings in one gig. Alexis has been really consistent for me.
Yeah.
Totally fair. Try the ones we mentioned. Try the others we mentioned, though.
Yeah.
Sound better.
Yeah, check out the string joys. James, greetings from Darvel. Greetings. Graham, eyeing up that laney stack in the background, what drive pedal would you suggest to push it into searing leads? Or do I bite the bullet by the Ironheart, Cab?
He's gone.
He's running.
I'm not sure
he's going to sell it. He's going to sell the thing. Keep going. We'll come back. Oh, no.
Shahar, he said.
Hang on, no.
Oh, yeah. That's the Tube Dreamer from Jam.
Yeah, it's a modified Tube Screamer, or just get a Tube Screamer, but this sounds awesome in front of that on the clean and the dirty channel. Okay, go. Next question.
Nice. Shahar, going to see the Aristocrats tonight. Nice one. Super excited. Governor Bella, Miniman, who's jealous?
Me. Marco Miniman could play with Chaz and Dave, and it would be amazing.
It would be because one of them's dead.
I know.
Jim Chaz. I'm looking to get a P90 guitar. Any favorite P90 pickups you recommend? Keep an eye out for.
I could write a book on this. Oh my God, it's my favorite pickup.
We haven't got time for a book.
I know. I'm gonna give you just get the Lawlers.
I agree, Laurel.
Just get the Lawlers. And that's my answer to almost every pickup question, by the way. Just get the Lawler that does the thing you're looking for because
check
you
out
will
the
not
staple
be
ones. They're
unhappy.
nice too.
Yeah.
Nice. KGS woodworking. So I missed the days of good music on TV. Yeah.
Same.
KGS, what's up?
Shahab Bar in the States, we refer to lawyers are known as rich assholes.
Yes.
Or PRS buyers.
PRS owners, yeah.
98. Last 20 years, MXR carbon copy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
good shout.
100%.
OCD, Shahar says, is a modern classic. Absolutely. Serves the unobtainium. I need to get out my unobtainium.
I need
Jeff
to try
Rock,
one of them.
I know Satriani is. Vinny, who the hell is Chris Martin? Really good. Really good. Sup, y'all, says Mr. Anderson 59. Carbon copies, good shout. Cheers.
Some of my podcast listeners here in the chat. Love you guys.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Jahabar Nuno as a Stevens extended cutaway looks bizarre. It does look bizarre. There we go. And Casardi says it as well.
Yeah. What he said, yeah.
Beat Steve.
Yeah.
Michael, I've got 80s Hamer Mirage 24 frets with Koa flame tops.
Oh, nice.
The guitar
That's going to
nice.
wail. Yeah.
Don't get rid of that.
Paul likes his guitar next to be girthy with wide nuts.
I was going to wish Felipe a Z as well, but you're right.
Just is it a Z or is it a Z? Come on.
Just traded 2 Wolfgang standards for a Strat Ultra 2. I found the Wolfgang's high E string was too close to the fretboard edge, and the string kept falling off the fretboard. Happens a lot with rolled edge guitars, guitars as well. Jeff Rock, not a tumbleweed moment. Yeah,
yeah, we all looked through it.
Yeah, next one.
Yeah.
How do you like the Ultra? I got the Telly Ultra. I loved it. The only ones I've ever tried, I tend to find them quite heavy, which I tend to have a bit of a whinge about often.
I'm too traditional for them. So
yeah,
great guitars.
Yeah.
Nick Torres, is a high-end amplifier more about sound or reliability?
Yes.
Yes.
For us, it's about background noise as well. For about the only thing we found in our extensive testing of driving amps to 10 is that the more expensive the amp, the less background noise there is.
Yep.
The less there is.
Much lower noise floor.
Thank you. That's the technical way of saying what I said.
Mike says, "Hey guys, just got back from playing after a long hiatus. Looking at a DSL 40-watt combo or a Katana Gen 3 artist combo. Which would you prefer?" That's
Katana Gen 3.
Katana.
Yeah.
I prefer the tenor. You've got that 40. The DSL's got to be driven really loud to make it sound good.
You're spending another 400, 500, 600 quid on a load box to make it work as it should be.
For me or an established player, I think DSL 40, but somebody just getting back into it, Katana.
Yeah,
Go.
because you can play the Katana at bedroom volume and not upset anyone.
Graham, it's amazing. Been playing 30 years. It's one of the nicest guitars I've ever played. Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks. Fraylin P90 says, Mr.
Oh,
Anderson.
yes.
I've got Freylands in that guitar right there.
Good.
Oh, incredible.
Lollers is always the way. There we go.
It's like the Mandalorian.
I was about to say this. That's exactly where I was going.
Michael says, yeah, I played 40 plus years. I love the Ultra so much. I played it for 3 months, night and day. Hurt my shoulder playing it so much. Not really hurt for months now. Now enjoying the Ultra. Great. Brilliant. You're enjoying it. That's fantastic. Hands of Flame, the Flammenwerfer. Just watched your video on the RB200. Saw you were live. And now I'm here. Look at that.
Awesome. That's how it works.
Welcome. Cheers, guys, says Michael. Anytime, mate. And Hans says, are the Boss 200 series really this good? I picked up the reverb, the delay, and the modulation. They sound fantastic. Do you find any drawbacks? No. They're great.
I have drawbacks.
I had drawbacks with them. It was just mine was simple. It was decision paralysis. There was too many things.
I have a list of a laundry list because I gigged the 500 series. Like I had all 3 of the 500 series when they were out originally instead of the Strifecta because I needed to be counter. You know what I mean? So 1, menu diving on Boss pedals is god awful. 2, menu diving on Boss pedals is god awful. And 3, which I just needed a third. I didn't want to just do 2.
Menu diving on Boss pedal has got awful.
The modulation one, the 200, is not as good as the Strymon Mobius. It's not. It doesn't have harmonic tremolo, or at least didn't when I was playing it. I think some of the modulation sounded shallow compared to like the depth of sound I was getting with the Mobius, and I really wanted the MD 500 to be like the Strymon Mobius killer, but it just wasn't. The rotary wasn't as good. The tremolos weren't as good. Phasers and choruses were fine. I actually think the choruses were really good, but it's Boss. They know how to do chorus. But the delay and the reverb are incredible units. The sound is there, but I felt like their presets were worse. The menu diving was bad. But if you're willing to get past the menu diving,
yeah,
Boss, you're right about this. It happens on a lot of Boss pedals. Graham, Osborne Music, do you still have the Ironheart head? Is it reliable?
No, I don't. It was bomb-proof because it was built by people with girders.
Here we go.
It certainly weighed a ton.
Yeah. Shahar says, can you give me an obscure British phrase to yell at Guthrie?
Ask him if he's got Trigger's broom.
Trigger's broom. That's a good one. Yeah, just keep shouting Trigger's broom at him.
Trigger's broom.
He is starting to look like Zaraman from Lord of the Rings lately, though. I don't know what's going on with that.
He is.
No, say if you say where's Trigger's broom,
yeah,
that's definitely English humor.
Yes. Hans says, yeah, but the Strymon is way more expensive. The choruses on the 200 are fantastic.
That's not what you asked.
Yeah, that's not what you asked. If you say for the money, that's a different question.
Yeah.
Graham, just ordered the Strymon reverb and a Universal Audio Starlight delay to run in the effects loop of the Katana Artist 2. Do you reckon I notice a big difference in quality? Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I think you will. I think you'll notice a really big one. I think the Universal Audio Starlight's an incredible sounding.
Yes, really good.
Very good.
Oh, and make sure you register it and get that extra algorithm because that extra algorithm's really good. The cube or whatever. They explained it once to me.
Yeah. Got it. Triggers broom. Awesome.
And Shahar, just Google it. It'll make sense then.
Really appreciate your feedback. Don't care about mini diving. Actually love my DL4. Again, thank you for the thoughtful feedback. Anytime, mate. Anytime. Yeah. Yell Kushti, mate, at Guthrie. Yeah.
So same same background.
Cheers, guys. Catch up soon.
Yeah.
Cheers out. Call someone a wank pheasant. It means almost nothing, but sounds great. Actually, bus wank is pretty good.
We were being polite with Trigger's broom.
Bus wanker. Jeff Rock.
Don't tell him, Mike.
Well, so was Kushti. Kushti's kind of polite as well. That's really nice, actually.
Don't tell him, Mike.
Do you guys get the in-betweeners over there?
The what?
The in-betweeners. It's a TV program.
If we might, but I don't know because I don't watch TV.
God, it is. It's hilarious. Hans, money isn't really something to consider to the sounds. I get the proximity to me. I don't like buying pedals online. I'm trying to pretend I'm in the 90s as much as I can.
Yeah.
Might as well go to 11 now, huh? Yeah. Triggers broom. I've got Triggers buddy. Solid bunch of gear years ago. I kept a Mezza 2x12 recto cab. How would the Katana artist Jen work with that?
Nice.
Very nice.
Plonker, very good.
Yeah.
Plonker, that would work.
And thank you.
Cheers, Hans. Thank you very much.
Right, at this point, we do this.
Stupid comment of the week.
There we go. This one.
So it was quad cortex versus nano cortex. Why do they sound different? And someone said, anyone else hear some hum on this video? New speaker setup, and I said, yes, mate. It's a guitar. Guitar's hum, but it is. It's like anyone that thinks now that I love these videos. Oh, it's a bit noisy, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just like
we've got a 4x12 sitting behind her.
It's supposed to be noisy. We don't want to use noisiest pickups because they're shite.
Stupid comment of the week.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got there. Well done, everyone. I'd like to thank 40 Watt Phil, Vinny the Axe, my co-host and partner in crime, Mr. Paul Drew, for sticking up with it for nearly 2.5 hours tonight.
Can I say, can we just big up? So 40 Watt Podcast, awesome podcast that is normally weekly when Phil can be bothered. And
this
Vinny
week's kind of iffy.
Yeah. And Vinny the Axe YouTube channel, go and check it out. Awesome stuff. And obviously James is Jivey Talk Tech.
Yes.
And Steve and Steve Cassidy guitar.
Yeah.
He came on for 5 minutes just to get a shout out.
Yeah. Right. Steve's channel is great when you just want to hear guitar and have no clue what somebody's saying. I'm kidding, Steve. I'm kidding.
As always, gentlemen, a pleasure to hang with you this evening. Thank you to everyone who's come on, who's commented, joined in the fun. We'll be back next week with more of the same of this guff. For those of you who enjoy it, lovely to see some new names tonight. Hopefully you'll join us next week. Questions are always welcome. Enjoy the content throughout the week. Have a good one. Have a good weekend of gigging, everyone. And we'll see you on the other side. Good night, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
See you.
Bye.